Wow. Wow.
How about those Devils? How about those Devils? How about those Devils? How about those Devils?
How about those Devils? Welcome back, Devils fans. This is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit the subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And what a day to be a New Jersey Devils fan. Our beloved New Jersey Devils have finally gotten the monkey off of their backs. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful day it is. They've finally done it. Your New Jersey Devils hosting the Edmonton Oilers, two-time Stanley Cup runner-up. And your New Jersey Devils defeat them at the Rock by a score of 5-3. It is 4 games in a row for our New Jersey Devils, something that has not been accomplished by this team since January 14th, 2013. 33 long months ago. It feels so good to finally cross this hurdle. I've said the whole time, it's not a huge deal if you win 3 out of every 4 games. I don't care if you never win 4 in a row, but it was annoying that they had so many chances and just can never do it. They finally get it done today, beating the Oilers. It is 4 in a row after starting off the season in Raleigh with that bad loss. And I must ask, I must know.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? I am so fired up about this team right now, guys. I'm trying to keep my composure. It is only 5 games, but this team over the past 4 games has shown you something, and it is primarily, they are not last year's team. For all the people that after the first game were dooming, and keep in mind, I'm coming for you. I'll come back to all that in a minute. But all the people that were just talking smack for, 1 game into the season, this team is the same as last year. Nothing's happening. Shame on you. This is not last year's team. This New Jersey Devils club, it feels good, guys. It feels extremely good. So much to get to. We'll get to the goals. Scoreless first period. I thought the Devils started off the game. Oh, win or lose, we booze. I keep forgetting. Cheers to all of you. I'm finishing off the Surfsides from my summer stash here. Surfside, this is the iced tea and lemonade variety. Cheers to all of you. Win or lose, we booze. Oh, man. Victory drinks taste so much better than loser beverages. And after 4 in a row, nothing goes down like a victory drink after 4 in a row. But first period, I thought the team was a little sleepy. They were getting outshot by a good margin in the beginning. It took them a little while to find their legs and get going. But scoreless first period, Jake Allen sharp early as always. And what can we say about Jake Allen, right, guys? A lot of people were nervous and kind of, I'm not going to say dooming, but once Markstrom got hurt, and keep in mind, these are the same people, a lot of them, that were hating on Markstrom. But Markstrom goes down with the injury, and people are like, season's over, da-da-da. No, that's why you have a great tandem. And Jake Allen was an amazing signing, obviously, by Fitz. Signs the team friendly. He's here in case something happens. Something did happen, and Jake Allen has been nothing short of stellar. Shuts it down in the first period. Go to the second period, scoreless 0-0, and that is when, my friends, another highlight reel for Jack Hughes. Comes in basically 1-on-3, splits the defenders, cuts far side, and just rips a beautiful shot at 8:07, beating Pickard, his second of the season, assisted by Brett Pesce, and what a play by Jack. What can we say about Jack? Again, a lot of people were kind of, Jack's off to a slow start. Just all the negativity that people typically do. They were out in full force. And it's like some of these people I feel like are just waiting for something to complain about. Like, we're still so early on in the season. But I did say after the road trip, I think our boy Jack is going to get it going at home, and get it going he did. What a phenomenal play by Jack Hughes on that goal. Gives the Devils the 1-0 lead at 8:07, assisted by Brett Pesce. And then later on in the period, on the power play, what a beautiful, beautiful finish in tight at 16:02.
Jesper Bratt, tit-a-tat, where my boy at?
Where my boy at? Jesper Bratt. Just unbelievable hands with the finish on the power play. His third of the season gives the Devils the 2-0 lead, assisted by Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier. And at that point, I was like, oh, baby. It was still early on in the game, but relatively speaking, but I was like, is this going to be the night? Am I going to be in the building to witness history? A 33-month drought of 4 games. Devils well on their way, up 2-0 after Bratter's goal. But the Oilers did answer back pretty quickly. At 18-16, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins gets his third of the season from McDavid and Roslovic, cuts the Devils' lead to 2-1, and that is how the second period would end. And at that point, I was still feeling good. I was like, okay, the Devils, look like they're kind of in control of the game, but anytime the deficit is down to 1 goal, you're like, anything could happen. And you never wanted to get too close. I was still feeling good after 2, but a little nervous. I was like, I hope this is not one of those ones we talk about that got away from us. Devils up 2-1 after 2. We head to the third. Oilers on the power play. Oh, and what a beautiful play this was. Glendening gets it to Brown, and Connor Brown, against his old mates, comes in on the breakaway and scores a shorthanded goal at 10:37 to give the Devils a 3-1 lead. And what a phenomenal play by Connor Brown to get the finish against his former club. He was fired up after the game. Super excited, obviously, to get a big one in this game. Shorthanded against his former club. Gives the Devils a 3-1 lead at 10:37. And a couple minutes later at 12:33, Jack strikes again. Just beautiful in tight. The hands of Jack. Buries it into the open net. Pickard faked out of his shorts. Jack's third of the season, assisted by Jesper Bratt, gives the Devils the 4-1 lead. Well in control of the game. And with the extra attacker, Oilers looking to mount a miraculous comeback. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins gets another one, cuts it to 4-2. Goalie's still out a couple minutes later, and Dawson Mercer out there protecting the lead as usual, and he deposits another one into the empty net, assisted by Nico, gives the Devils the 5-2 lead, puts the game away. And I don't like this thing where the Devils are scoring on an empty net, and then they allow the team to score again. I don't like that. This is the second time we've seen it. Hopefully we don't see it anymore. But, Dawson gets the empty netter, and then Curtis Lazar, our old friend, with 3 seconds left, assisted by Henrique, with 3 seconds left in the game, cuts it to 5-3. That is how the game would end. And what a masterful performance by the New Jersey Devils. And wow, let me just get to these supers real quick. Thank you very much. The 4 Directions. I dig the fit. Love your energy and passion. Cheers. Thank you very much, 4 Directions. Much appreciated. I'll get to the outfit in a minute. Traveling Devil, my man. Thank you, sir. Let's go Devils ×4. Finally, we get the 4 in a row. It's been entirely too long. So many attempts to get it, too. They've won 3 in a row so many times and always dropped that 4th. But cheers to you, Traveling. Thank you very much. All right, where were we here? The game stats. Oh, we get to the game stats. Oilers 30 shots on goal. Devils with 23. Devils losing the faceoff battle. 56% for the Oilers. 28 of 50 to the Devils. 44%. 22 of 50. Once again, another miraculous outing for your New Jersey Devils, our beloved New Jersey Devils, on the penalty kill. Oilers go 0 for 3 on the power play. 3 for 3 perfection from the Devils penalty kill, and the Devils go 1 for 3 on the power play. Another amazing night for special teams. All the SST particularly was like, you said special teams are going to be good and special blah, blah, blah. Special teams are here, kids. It will be a pillar of this New Jersey Devils club. It was last season. Maybe not the best start for the power play. It seems like now everything is trending in the right direction. The New Jersey Devils will have a good power play, and they will have possibly an even better penalty kill. Oilers 20 hits, Devils with 24 hits. Oilers 13 block shots, Devils with 15 block shots. Oilers with 25 giveaways. That's a lot. Devils 10 giveaways. Oilers 4 takeaways. The Devils with 8 takeaways. And that is your game stats. We get to some of the player stats here. Let's just take a look. Anything jumps out. Nico Hischier with a 2-assist night. Love to see it with 4 shots and 3 blocks. Good outing from Nico. Glendening with an assist, a shot, 4 hits. Connor Brown with a goal, 2 shots and a block. Andre Palat, 2 shots, a block, 3 hits. Hallinan a shot and 5 hits. Like to see the hits from Hallinan. Jesper Bratt, a goal and an assist for 2 points and a block. Gritsuk, kind of a quiet night for him, in my opinion. He did have a very good, on the power play, he had a great, he flew back to negate what could have been a Draisaitl dangerous scoring chance shorthanded. Gritsuk definitely hustled back to break that up. But 2 shots and a block for Grits. Jack Hughes with a monster 3-point night, 2 goals and an assist, 4 shots. Love to see it from Jack. Dawson Mercer with another goal, continuing his frenetic pace to start the season. 2 shots and a block for Mercer. We got Mr. Brendan Dillon with a block and 4 hits. Dougie Hamilton with a block and a hit. Brett Pesce with an assist and 3 blocks. You know, he's always blocking shots. And Jake Allen, 27 saves on 30 shots. Your New Jersey Devils have won 4 games in a row. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. They are looking like an absolute force. And guys, buckle up. Buckle up. It is going to be a fun season. As I mentioned online, your boy was PBA. PBA, we call it. Press Box Ace was in the press box tonight. Thank you to the New Jersey Devils for accommodating me with that. It was a very fun experience. Also, shout out to Christy Flannery of the Hockey News, who kind of took your boy under her wing and kind of helped out the new kid on his first day of school. There's a lot going on. You don't really know where to go. And most of the people that are there are, you know, have been there, veterans, and they've been there forever. And so they know exactly what's going on. I was obviously like Bambi out there, had no idea what was going on. So thank you very much, Christy. She showed me the ropes, had a nice conversation with her for a few minutes, and really appreciate her help. But yeah, it was a good time. I was in the press box, definitely a different experience than being in the stands. You obviously cannot lose your mind and go crazy in the press box. So you kind of got to sit there like you're at church, which was kind of a struggle for me because within the game, when things happen, your inclination is to kind of get, wild and crazy. And so you kind of just got to sit there and just observe, which is an interesting dynamic as well, but pretty cool experience. The press box is super high in the air, gives you a different view of the game. But I was able to go in the locker room afterwards. I did not get any questions in because I do not like asking questions just for the sake of asking questions. And people had already kind of asked the questions that I would have asked. And so I was just kind of an observer this time around. But in the locker room for post-game availability, first it was Jack that spoke. And all these clips, I believe, will be on, or if they're not already, on the Devils YouTube channel. First it was Jack, then it was Pesce, then it was Connor Brown. And then obviously the Sheldon Keefe regular post-game press conference, but I will have a vlog. It's not going to be probably as long as some of my other ones, just because, there's a lot of stuff going on. And so it'll be a different version of a vlog for sure. But that'll come out tomorrow. But if you guys are not following Christy from the Hockey News, definitely give her a follow. I'll probably have her on the program at some point in the near future. She's _NHL. I always forget what her. Hold on, let me. I could actually snip it real quick here. Let me. But what a game, guys. 4 in a row. And who would have thunk it? I mean, to start off the season the way they did in Raleigh, with all the naysayers and the doomers and, the just end of the world type people, to come out and just follow it up with 4 really gutsy victories in a row. Follow Christy. There's Christy's X page. That blew up really big. But Instalettos _NHL, beat writer for the Devils at all the home games, writes a ton of great articles, is always posting, videos and clips and things from at practice. So definitely give her a follow. Good reporter, very nice woman. Like I said, she took good care of your boy because I was just clueless out there. But definitely give Christy a follow. 4 in a row. I mean, and in the end, when everyone was talking about how difficult the schedule was, when we saw the schedule released and we're like, this is a brutal October, to start the season on the road against 3 very good teams and then to come home for your first 2-game homestand, to be against the defending back-to-back Cup champs and then the back-to-back Cup runner-ups. Absolutely hellacious 5-game stretch to start the season. And the rest of October is not any walk in the park either. But what a brutal 5 games to start the season. Everybody was talking about it. The reality, it is what it is. I mean, we got a kind of a raw deal from the schedule makers. And your New Jersey Devils are playing .800 hockey right now, my friends. Your New Jersey Devils, my New Jersey Devils, our beloved New Jersey Devils are 4-1 through 5 games, and it feels phenomenal. I am trying my hardest to stay even keel. I'm trying my hardest, but for a longtime fan like myself that has seen the glory years, has seen Cup contenders, I said it in the summer, with the additions of some of the veterans and the guys that have been here getting a year older, all of a sudden, to me, it started to feel more like the cohesive group that could potentially compete for a cup and go on a deep run in the playoffs. It really started to feel like that. And I think Connor Brown has been a massive, massive addition for this club. Obviously, all of our top guns being healthy. Obviously, we have injuries everywhere else, but the top guns being healthy is a huge thing to have for this club. And the defense and goaltending is picking up right where it left off last year. I mean, wow. And then obviously the youth injection of Gritsuk. Gritsuk just being the guy that many of us were hoping for. No points in his last couple games, but I do think we've seen flashes from him to where he is a potential top 6 guy. And maybe not this season, but as far as like his trajectory in his career, I definitely believe he's going to be a top 6 guy. I do like him where he is in the lineup right now because it does give us that balanced attack that we've been looking for. Bottom 6 is finally producing. Last year, they were a black hole. That is not the case this year. Connor Brown has been a blessing for this club, and that signing is paying dividends immediately. I mean, what can you say? He's come in here and really, for a guy that every time he talks, he always talks about how he chose New Jersey because he wanted to go to a place where he thought he had a very good chance to win, and he saw the Devils as an opportunity where they haven't really broke through yet, I believe was the terminology he used, but he knew that they were kind of on the brink. And that's kind of how we've all felt since that 22-23 season. And this could be the year that they take the next step. I said from the summer, I have a good feeling. And yeah, I mean, they've proven so far that they very well may be that team that really is looking to take that next step. We look at the scoring through 5 games. Jesper Bratt, 3 goals and 4 assists for 7 points. You'd love to see it. Ken Bratter finally hit that 100-point mark. I think there's a very, very good chance we see Bratter get close to it this season. He's obviously averaging well over a point a game. 7 points in 5 games is 1.4. That's obviously, again, not something you can sustain over the course of a season, but I think 100 could really happen for Bratter, and I think it could happen for Jack as well. After a little bit of a slow start for Jack, he's come alive at home, and he has 3 goals and 3 assists for 6 points in 5 games. The captain with 6 points as well through the 5 games, 2 goals and 4 assists. Timo Meier, 3 goals and 2 assists for 5 points. The dog. Let's give it up for the dog. Dawson Mercer, 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 points through 5 games. Luke Hughes with the 4 assists through 5 games. Connor Brown with 3 goals. Arseny Gritsuk with 3 assists. Brendan Dillon, 2 assists. Brett Pesce, 2 assists. Shimo Nemitz. But love to see the contributions from everywhere. But that Connor Brown signing is looking like it is going to be one of those signings that you look back on and you're like, wow, that really paid dividends and had an impact on the team immediately. And it's not like, oh, midway through the season, he kind of came alive. No, Connor Brown is getting it done immediately. Amagi, thank you for the super, sir. Running with the Devils hoodie is officially the lucky hoodie. 4 wins. Did you have it? You had it on today, Amagi? Did you have it on the last game? Give me the rundown. Maybe there's something to this. Is the heavier, edgier, more violent hoodie a stroke of good luck? That would certainly be something. Bear with me. I'm getting some text here. But yeah, look for the vlog. That'll be coming out tomorrow. Like I said, I don't remember exactly what It's going to be a little bit different than the normal vlogs, but it should be entertaining nonetheless. I briefly talked to Don LaGreca again. He's great. I can't wait I didn't see anything from the post game or anything because I was in the locker room and then at the Sheldon Keefe press conference. I can't wait to hear the Don call at the end. The put a pitchfork in this one is phenomenal stuff. I have to say, it gets me so fired up. And I think Don is just going to, get for the people that kind of have complaints about Don. He was a radio guy forever, and he's just getting onto TV now. Give him a little slack, but you have to love the passion and the enthusiasm from Don LaGreca on the call. And I think he is obviously just going to continue to improve as the season goes on. This has only been his third or fourth game, I think. Maybe fifth if he had a preseason or two. But Don is just going to continue to get better, and he is a hardcore fan. The man has a 1995 Stanley Cup tattoo on his leg. All right, let's get to some of your comments here. What a night for your New Jersey Devils. Dire Wolves is 4-game heater. Let's go. Ariel, I wish Curtis Lazar stuck with 43 in Edmonton. Yes, sometimes you got to change the number up. Oh, RME is getting ahead of himself. We want the cup. Obviously, we want the cup. The cup would be, wow, guys. Let's not get crazy, but a cup win for this team. I'm just hoping for one more in my lifetime, as many of you know. I never thought I would have found myself here 22 and a half years removed from our last one, just hoping for one more, because at that point I would have predicted I would have seen at least 5 more in my lifetime. Back in 2003, we still had some of those core pieces were still around for a while after that. I would have thought maybe they would have got 1 or 2, but how can you not love this Devils team right now? Responding in a big way after, they were in the game till the very end in Raleigh, but in the end it was, the score was not indicative of the game, but they were thoroughly outplayed, and it did leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because it just seemed like more of the same, a continuation of the playoff series from last April. But I will say, for whatever reason, the Devils will figure out the Canes. I firmly believe that on random days, Keefe and his coaching staff are probably in the lab crafting up whatever they're going to do for when we play the Canes again in January. But that's, like I said, a future problem. For now, this team is going to just keep running through people. I really think they're going to give a lot of teams problems. I think this Devils team is a special group. I really do. And like I said, it's hard not to get carried away, but I said in the summer before even preseason, Eastern Conference Finals are bust. I predicted them to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. And while it's only 5 games, it's certainly encouraging to see what we've seen from this team in those 5 games, especially bouncing back after that game in Raleigh. Devs fan says, who is McDavid? Yeah, Tasha, the fact that Lazar's goal was assisted by Henrique. I know. Former New Jersey Devils, it seems like for the past long time, have specialized in just brutalizing the Devils every time they play them. Whether it was, guys like Boquist on Florida. I'm trying to remember who else in recent times came back and really kind of took it to us. But luckily that goal was completely meaningless outside of, putting a little damper on Jake Allen's stat line. I'm skipping ahead here. Army said, after Brownie said he loves playing with Grits, I'm officially shutting up about bumping Grits to first line left wing. Yeah, I've talked about it. It is a thing that a lot of people talk about and want to see, but in the end, leaving him in the bottom 6 is keeping the scoring balance. Like, if you bump him up, it's like, oh yeah, you may have made one of the top 2 lines or the first line, whatever it may be, ain't a little bit better, but I think you are net negative because I think it's a drastic hit to the bottom 6. And Sheldon Keefe even mentioned something along those lines. It was either, after his practice availability a couple days ago or after the game, but he did say having Grits in that bottom 6 really kind of keeps things moving down there. All right, Michael Lynch, I was at the game today. Well, you saw a good one. You saw a very good one. Here we go with the running. Because you haven't deposited your apologies and you've been wrong about everything. But everyone here knows. And I will say, for those that were hating on either the three groups of people I will be targeting, people that have talked smack on Timo, people that have talked smack on Dawson Mercer, or people that talk smack on the team after the first game, I'm waiting for your apologies. If I do not see a wave of apologies in the comments in the next couple days, I'm coming out. I am coming out to play. Brendan Play says, first game at Little Caesars Arena tomorrow. Seeing the visiting Oilers. Maybe McDavid was saving his energy for tomorrow. Well, he still had he had that really nice assist on the Nugent Hopkins goal. He assisted on both of them. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, still two assist night for McDavid, just getting his points. BMP's a solid game, 4 in a row. Hokage, hey, Ace, how about those Devils? How about those Devils? Wow. Tasha says PVA is wild. Is that good as Gen Pop? No, the press box is interesting. It's an interesting, the whole thing is very interesting. I enjoyed it. Tasha says Christy has some great articles. Yes, she does. Thanks, Christy, for taking care of our man. RME, Connor McDavid going to change his middle name to Brown. M. Sharp says you look like you went to church. Yeah, I had to act like I was in church in the press box. It was hard. I almost jumped up and freaked out a couple times, and I was like, and then I caught myself. I was like, especially on the Jack goal when he split the defenders and cut wide. I mean, that was a highlight reel move. That's a big-time goal from a big-time player. Love to see Jack get it going. Hopefully, this is just the start of it. Would love to see him get to 50. I mean, I'm just talking about lofty aspirations right now. Traveling Devil Ace is going to lift the cup someday soon. I don't know about all that. I mean, I've touched it plenty of times when the Devils have won it. Tasha, looking forward to the vlog. Still haven't watched the last one. 50 minutes is a lot. Yeah, so don't watch the whole thing. No one watches the whole thing. I mean, I suppose some people do. But a somewhat longer than average one because it was opening night with all the festivities and stuff. It made it a little bit longer than it typically would be. Army, if I went to church, I'd only go if Ace was the preacher and talked about the Devils. Snow Devil, glad Laser scored the goal in his first showing as an Oiler. Wish him the best in Edmonton. I mean, I didn't want Laser to score a goal against us. I mean, I would root for him against any other team, but not against the Devils. M Sharp says mass produced that hoodie. That was the first hoodie was a limited edition drop, never to be made again. Shout out to everyone that bought a t-shirt or a hoodie. I appreciate all of you. That was a limited edition, and that will become a collector's item in years from now when people are like, damn, that was the inaugural Running with the Devils release made in super limited quantities, and I'm lucky enough to own one. I've been thinking about some potential merch for this season, but merch is annoying to do, and it's a whole headache, so I don't know. Maybe I have a couple ideas. Maybe I'll come forward with some of them in the near future, but maybe not. SST, I've dreamt about a 4-game win streak since this channel's inception, but I still, I'd like to see us play better against physical and healthy teams. Oh, there's always something negative with SST. Yeah. How are you going to say you're so happy? And because that's what this man specializes in, Tasha. It's crazy. Max, Connor Brown is quickly becoming my favorite player. I mean, what an amazing addition to this club. An amazing, amazing addition. And he's just fit right in and has done everything I think the team was hoping of him and more. And that's what you see on the ice. I do believe he's going to be a great veteran presence in the room for a lot of these guys. Off the ice, I'm sure he's very helpful to a lot of these guys. And like I've said for a while, I always thought we needed a little bit more of that veteran infusion. And we did get a little bit of it, obviously, with Palat years ago. And then more recently, 2 summers ago with Dilly and Nason to some extent and Pesci. But now you add Brown and Dodonov, who's obviously injured, but those are more veteran guys who've been through the playoff wars and the long seasons. And all of a sudden, to me, the team just started to take on, and, Jack's a year older and Mercer's a year older. And so is Bratter and Nico. And these guys have been around. And all of a sudden we went from, a couple years back to like a young kind of up and coming team to now it's like the window's open now. The time to win is now. A nice blend of guys right near their prime with some vets, a couple youngsters, and, Gritsuk and Luke. And it's go time, kids. And it's showing on the ice. 800 hockey, 4-1 through a brutal 5-game stretch, 3 of them on the road. And I mean, what can we say, guys? To start 4-1, everyone would have been ecstatic with that at any point in time to say your New Jersey Devils are going to be 4-1 through 5. But even more so after the first game. I believe SST said they were going to lose the next two in one of the comments. It'll be one of the comments of him, of his that I show in the shame video, the Hall of Shame video that he'll be prominently featured in with many other people. But I believe he was like, oh, they're going to lose to Tampa and Columbus. Not only did they beat both of those clubs, then they came back to the Rock, beat the back-to-back Cup champs, and then the back-to-back Cup runner-up. This is not last year's team. This is a new-look New Jersey Devils, and I am certainly here and excited for it. James, amazing day. Devils dominate. Brown scores the shorty. Jack with a double. Panthers lose 0-3 to the Sabres. Rangers down by 2 in under 5 minutes. Perfection. That's quite a sequence of outcomes there. I can't believe the Panthers are struggling the way they are. I mean, they're still loaded, but now they've lost, 4 in a row? I think they started off 3-0, and now they've lost 4. I mean, it's crazy. Michael says, could always ask Jack what his favorite Gen Pop shooter is. Travin, let's take the 8 points and be happy about it. Doesn't matter if some teams were beat up already. Yeah, I mean, everyone's dealing with some sort of injuries. I do feel like the Devils over the past few seasons have been way more injured than other teams. But in the first couple weeks of this season, it is clear that there is a lot of injuries throughout the league. So people are like, oh, yeah, Devils have injuries, so does every other team. But they don't have the history that we do over the past few years of big-name guys going down for large chunks of time. Army, Devils showing a lot of maturity since game 1 to keep fighting despite slow starts and injuries. Great coaching, goaltending, and leadership. Completely agree. All right, let me see. How was the crowd tonight? Would have loved to be there for Brown Shorty. It seemed like a pretty good crowd to me. Pretty lively. Building exploded on all the goals. Brown Shorty was amazing. Erdy, our second shorthanded goal through 5 games. I'd be curious to know. Let me see. Trying to see how many we had all of last year. It couldn't have been many. We're obviously on pace. It says 7. According to the AI overview on Google, which is sometimes shoddy, not always accurate, but that's saying we had 7 shorthanded goals during last season, which I would have never thought. I would have thought it was less than that. But 7 shorthanded goals. I mean, wow, I'm a little surprised. Right now, we're on pace for a ridiculous amount. We're on pace for obviously 0.4. This could never happen. This would probably be an NHL record. But right now we're on pace for 33 shorthanded goals. I mean, that's not going to happen. But I mean, 2 through 5 games is wild. Putz Monkey says 4 in a row. M Sharp, props to our team. Fun to watch too. Putz Monkey, what an amazing 2 games to see. This one in the home opener. Yeah, I mean, wow. I was lucky to be there for both of them. And this is a new look club, guys, and I am fired up. Again, trying to contain my overall outlook and just overall just very positive, and I'm fired up, super hyped up, and I really think this is the year that they're going to go on a deep run. I predicted Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm not budging from it. I mean, they look really good, and if a couple things go our way, a 4th Stanley Cup could be in the cards, but let's not get crazy. It's only 5 games. Tasha, we've definitely been more bought into the system. Keith benefits are fully paying off with consistency. Anson, I enjoy the vlogs that Ace does. I'm disabled and can't go to games, so it's a treat. I'm glad you like them, Anson. There's going to be one from today. Definitely going to be a little bit of a different look than many of the other ones, but there'll definitely be some stuff on there for sure. M Sharp says, excellent shorts, Ace. Oh, thank you. Yeah, if you like the shorts, check out that tab on the channel. Cheers to all of you guys. Put a bunch of shorts on the channel over the last few days, and there's going to be a bunch constantly coming out, but there's a bunch from the red carpet. There's little snippets from in the game. I've realized a lot of people like seeing the face-offs, which is pretty cool, too, to see, different guys in the circle taking face-offs. I got some of those today, too. Saw McDavid against Hischier and then Draisaitl versus some guys. Yeah, some good face-off footage today as well. Troy Machine, Panthers went 0 for 8 on the power play versus Buff. That's brutal. How's that even possible? Riot and Respect. Thank you, sir. Ace, let's go. Let's go, Riot and Respect. The New Jersey Devils have won 4 consecutive games for the first time since January of 23. And hopefully they can just keep it going. Obviously have more tough games coming up as this whole October schedule is fairly brutal, but the boys are in action Tuesday in Toronto, and then they return home Wednesday for a matchup with the Wild, and then Friday, Sharks. In Toronto is going to be another test, obviously. Sheldon Keefe returns home once again, and hopefully the boys can make it 5. But thank you very much, Ryan, and respect. Much appreciated. Yeah, Panthers got shut out. Faye says SST be positive and happy tonight. No negativity or dooming. I mean, it's just in his blood. He can't help himself. There's always got to be some sort of like shade of negativity to anything he says, and that's fine. Everything he said in recent times has been proven to be completely nonsense, and this team just continues to look like a legit cup hopeful. They really do. Again, super early in the season, but they are playing like a very good team. Putz Monkey, the big dogs are the big dogs tonight. Yeah, that's kind of step 1 in winning games, right? You need your big dogs to be the big dogs on most nights, and we've seen now in this homestand the big dogs being the big dogs. They've all scored, if not multiple times. Jack, Bratter, Timo, Nico, everybody contributing in the top 6, and you love to see it. The big dogs are the big dogs, and the bottom 6 is taking care of itself. Solid goaltending, solid D, special teams is shining. You absolutely love to see it, and this team is looking like one that could do some real damage. Tasha, Bratter off to an insane start. What can you say about 63? Mr. Consistency, in my opinion, our best offensive player in terms of just overall body of work over the past several seasons. Putz Monkey says, where are all those guys that were saying Hughes didn't look like himself? They're probably hiding somewhere, crying in their pillows because Jack came back to the Rock and just is going off. M Sharp, the face-off one where Bennett was thinking about giving the butt end of the stick to our captain who menaced him. Tasha, I'm definitely going to pick up his jersey sometime this season. Who? Connor Brown, amazing pickup. Army. Jack's hustle on the second goal was awesome. Dude must be imagining every opponent is the Rags these past couple games. Yeah, he's on fire. Absolutely on fire. Amagi, I had the heavier, edgier, more violent hoodie on for both Florida and Edmonton. Well, then I guess it officially is lucky. It is officially lucky. Troy Machine says, need another run of those sweatshirts. If I do anything with the same slogan, it'll definitely, it has to be a different design because those were limited edition. Those are the inaugural drop. Like I said, very appreciative to everyone that bought it. If I do the same slogan, it will be a different design because one and done. That's my style. One run, you get it or you don't. Retired forever. Oh, you don't know me. Ace, this isn't a good look for you. Much better than that schlubby getup. You keep this up, you'll be sitting between Sal and Rachel in the intermission segments. That definitely won't happen, but I appreciate that. I am certainly more comfortable in my normal fan gear than the, whatever we want to call this. And while I do wear stuff like this occasionally when I have to, I certainly would never choose to wear this. Definitely never choose to wear it. But, once in a while, like I said, I told you guys from years ago, the first time I appeared in non-Devils gear, I said I do own non-Devils clothing. I just don't like to wear it. But I certainly have it and will wear it when I need to. Tasha says, Don's shorty call was electric. I can't wait to go back and watch the game. Especially, to hear how fired up Don gets. Man, shout out to Don. What a legend. I was kind of sitting next to him for a while in the little, press room where the food is. Me and Don were eating cheesesteaks together. What a time. And he was making all of his notes and stuff. A lot of game day preparation for the play-by-play guy that people may not realize. I learned that years ago as a child when I was observing Mike Doc Emmerich and how thorough he was in his preparation and all the things that he had to do, leading up to each and every game. I mean, Doc was just like an encyclopedia. It was crazy. Tasha's Ace, the question we all want answered, how did you get into the press box? I've been in touch with the team for a while trying to make it happen. And, eventually I think they just were like, okay, I mean, the reality is the Devils don't have a ton of media coverage. And if I'm being honest, I think I deserve the spot. I really do. I'm essentially doing free marketing for the team on the regular. And so they finally kind of let me in. Very, very gracious of them. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity. And I hope I get to go back. It was a very cool experience. I wish I got to ask a question, but as the first timer, I didn't want to really step on any toes. And a couple times I had a question in mind that, someone else asked it before me. And like I've said before, I would never ask a question just for the sake of asking a question. I think that's why a lot of guys get annoyed with the media, because a lot of times we all sit here and you hear questions and you're like, what kind of dumbass question is that? And I don't want to be that. I'll never be that guy. And so if I don't have a very good question, I would rather just not ask a question. And someone asked Jack the question I would have asked before I would have had an opportunity to kind of jump in there. But very cool experience. Leo, Grits just posted on Telegram. He said he wasn't able to contribute much, but the forecheck wasn't too bad. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's still learning this everything. New country, new everything for this kid. I think he's going to have a solid season, and I'm excited. I just want him to get his first goal out of the way. I hope it doesn't start weighing on him mentally. That's just kind of conjecture. I just hope that it doesn't take that much longer, because I could see him starting to, if it goes on for a little while longer and he doesn't get one, maybe like start gripping his stick and kind of getting in his head a little bit. But I'm not worried about it at all. All right, I fell behind again. I gotta, Antimatter, we got to get the 1 versus 8 playoff format back. Couldn't agree more. Insane Pollock Ace finally getting the recognition he deserves. Congrats. Thank you. How I got here, Jeremy Proper, 4 in a row. What is WO is? Who dis? I got it. Who dis? This is the new look New Jersey Devils. Army says there's a reason Torts picked us to win the Cup, Ace. Having Shaw is going to be huge, especially in the playoffs. He's not a Larry Robinson, but you know how big of an impact a D-men coach can have. Yeah, and maybe that is the reason, his familiarity with Shaw, but I mean, that's still, it seems like going out on a limb a little bit. M. Sharp says, Professor Keefe, keeping up the Devils, I think we're going to have some type of goalie dilemma. It's possible. It's definitely possible. Jake Allen is damn solid. I'm always a fan of riding the hot hand. And I wish he didn't give up that goal to Lazar, because it would have made it, not that it matters. He was great so far this whole season, but it sucks that his stats are going to take a hit because of that one, but it is what it is. TJ, kudos to Ace for securing a media credential. Let's hope this is the first of many. Thank you, TJ. I appreciate that. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Finally, someone on the other team. Finally, someone on our team scores on their former team, not our former player scoring on us. Well, they both happened. Connor Brown scored for us against the Oilers, and then Lazar got that mop-up time goal. Michael S., thank you, sir. Ace, I have the Heavier, Edgier, More Violent t-shirt. Wish I got the hoodie as well. I am down for the next round of merch. Let's go Devils. Thank you very much for the super, Michael, and thank you for buying the t-shirt. Take good care of it. That will be a collector's item, but I am trying to think, and again, I don't want to just make mediocre merch either. I'm a little bit of not like a complete perfectionist, but I am very picky with stuff like in aesthetics, and especially for like merch. And I would never want to just put out some garbage. And so like I do often kind of, I don't want to say dwell, but I become almost obsessive where like, if there's something I don't like, I'm going to be like, scrap it. Just scrap the whole thing. Throw it in the garbage. I'm not doing it. There's some element of this I don't like, so forget it. But I have been thinking of a couple ideas. I think I do need maybe there'll be some kind of merch this season. I'm still thinking over a couple things. Putz Monkey, bottom six is looking great right now. Once Nason gets back, it'll be buffed up even more with the line shuffling. Yeah, very curious to see. In practice, he was skating on the fourth line. I don't know if that was just for practice or if that's kind of how they're going to ease him back into the lineup. They had mentioned something about him getting back in game shape and conditioning and yada, yada. But these are all great problems to have. Like I've talked about, and a lot of you. Got to hydrate. Got to stay hydrated. How are my steps doing today? Ooh, the steps are low. The depth is beautiful. And like Fitz always talks about, competition has been created, and that's what the Donovs still out. And so there are going to be some hard decisions for the coaching staff in terms of where guys are going to slot and line up, who's going to come out of the lineup. But these are all great problems to have. They really are. Nick says we saw the real Connor tonight. Connor Brown. Let me get a hell yeah. RME, Jared McCann should be our Marchand type pick up this deadline or sooner. Would really love to take us to the next level. I do think if this team continues anywhere near this level of play where they're looking like a real, like a true blue contender come deadline time, I do think that will put the proverbial battery in the back of Tom Fitzgerald to be like, we're going for it. We're going for it. Chips are going in. Chips are going in the middle, and we are going to make a splash. Now, obviously, I'm not going to start speculating about all the different things. You know, people like talking about things that are way down the line, and that's certainly far away. There's so many different ways for that to be facilitated in terms of using assets to procure one of these top 6 players everybody wants and make them fit under the salary cap in terms of salary going out. There's a lot of pieces, but the Devils certainly have a lot of assets to play with to make something substantial happen. And like I said, if this team is still playing at this level and really looking like a true contender, I think that's going to be just what Fitz needs to get that trigger finger to start pulling. I really do. I think it will inspire him to do something big. M. Sharp, thank you for the super. Running with the Devils merch, ace. I'm thinking about it. I have so much planned, and everything just takes so much more time than you would think. Everything takes time and resources and money and blah, blah, blah. I have grand plans for this whole thing. And like I've talked about a lot of times, I don't know how many of them will come true. But if even a fraction of them come true, there's going to be some really cool stuff going down. And I'm hoping to, incorporate in the somewhat near future, some like really cool live events and experiences that fans can enjoy. I always try to think like, what is some cool stuff that I would want to be able to go to that I think other people will like? And that's kind of where I'm at right now, but I'm not going to go too off topic on all that stuff, but I'm trying a lot of stuff. But thank you very much, M. Sharp. I really appreciate it. All right. Yo, some of the. Oh man, you guys are brutal. Dimitri, your new cut gives you a George Clooney Ocean's 11 vibe. Oh boy, I don't know about all that, but if I could have 1/1,000,000th of the money or women that George Clooney has, life would be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Putz Monkey. I love Mercer right now, but I was not a fan of Timo being excluded from Power Play 1 tonight. Could not agree with you more. I am a huge Timo guy, as you all know. I think he should be on Power Play 1 every time. But it does seem that both special teams, power play and penalty kill, will have different looks depending on the opponent. That's something that's kind of new for the season, where there's not necessarily a designated Power Play 1 unit. There's like 2 of them, I guess. And depending on the tendencies or strengths or whatever it is that they're looking at from the opponent, that is how they will decide what the Power Play 1 unit is. So for whatever this formula that they're using, it excluded Timo from Power Play 1, which obviously I'm not happy about as well. I firmly believe, with all due respect to whatever this process is where they're kind of tailoring the units to the opposition, I think Timo should be on Power Play 1 on the flank, every single Power Play 1. Like, I don't really care whatever they're looking at, but, it is what it is. He's going to get his chances. It's just not going to be every single night because of this specialized special teams unit that they're doing. RME, RWT Sports Dragons. Definitely. It's more of a t-shirt hoodie kind of thing. But thank you very much for the super RME. All right. Pete, get Keith that win Tuesday and put the league on notice. It'd be a big one. These are the most exciting games at least for me. Like, I haven't been this fired up about games in October in years. Like, I couldn't even, maybe ever, because of how badly I want this team to succeed this season or the foreseeable future, and all the expectations with the tweaks and everything. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever been this fired up for games in October. Because even during the glory years, it was like, we know we're going to the playoffs. We know we're going to go, we have a chance to win a cup every year. You know, whether that materializes or not, we don't know. But like, we knew we were going to the playoffs. And so it was hard to get so high over regular season games. Obviously, the rivalries and things were way more intense back then. And those are always like a caveat to any of this stuff. Like, those games are always big and always super meaningful. But in terms of just like winning games in October, it was just like, we've been here before. I'm not going to get that excited about it. And now, you know, with the new additions and the heightened expectations and kind of this core kind of being questioned for a couple of years now, yeah, it all kind of comes together for me to where I haven't been this excited about October games probably ever. Probably ever. Doug says the apologies won't come. They're too coward to admit they're wrong. You're probably right. All right, I got a super speed ahead. Hogan says, Ace kind of looking like he wants to sell me a used car. Oh, man, you guys are brutal. Brutal. Tasha said they could not put me in the press box. They'd have to throw me out because I can't. I was kind of like on the far side. They kind of put me in the outfield, which, I have no complaints. I'll sit anywhere. Met a couple nice college kids that were there for a class. For their journalism class. Shout out to the boys I met from Marist U. Nick and I forget. I'm bad with names. Snow Devil Ace, did you get to stuff your face in the press box? So there is a like media meal that you could pay for kind of when you first walk in before everything. So it's kind of like set up in this media room and it's kind of like a buffet. I didn't do the damage I would typically do in the lounges, but I did, I guess, stuff my face a little bit, but nowhere near like the regular level. I did have, what did they have in there? Bow tie pasta. And one of my buddies told me I should film it, but I didn't want to look like, I don't know. It didn't feel right to do it just because the environment didn't seem like, I think I did a couple items. I think I reviewed maybe some desserts, but there was like some sandwiches, bow tie pasta. There was some onion rings, a cheesesteak station, and some other stuff. And I had several cheesesteaks next to my boy Don LaGreca. Anson, I got one of the limited edition shirts and watched the full vlog. Thank you. M Sharp, damn, need another limited edition merch drop. I will pre-order. Well, there'll probably be one in the somewhat near. I don't know when. Maybe before the year's up, the calendar year. But you guys will be the first to know. It always gets announced in a post-game live. I'll just show up with it. Tasha, only 6-7 likes is tragic. Everyone dropped a like for PBA Ace. Yo, hit the thumbs up for your boy. Come on. And your New Jersey Devils that are 4-1 on the season, winning 4 games in a row for the first time in nearly 3 years. Let's go. John Fay, the real question should be, do we give Fitz a round of applause and credit for signing Connor Brown? Absolutely. That was an amazing signing by Fitz. And I liked the Donov too. I liked it more when I thought he was going to play in the bottom 6, if I'm being real. But another gamer who's been around the block, veteran, love the move. Hopefully he comes back and he can contribute in the lineup as well. All right, I got to stop rambling so much. B-Poi, Ace, we just beat the Stanley Cup contenders from last year. Yes, we did. Stick Figs, Lazar, with like 2 seconds left, is the one guy I'm fine with taking that empty net goal security back, but it better not happen again. Yeah, I would like to not see it anymore. Shut it down. After we get an empty netter, just end the game. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Where are the haters who said 4 and 6 after 10? Oh, I would like to see it. I would like to see those people deposit their apologies, because if they don't, I'm coming. Yo, Snand, I was at the game. Absolutely electric. Yeah, it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Nicole, amazing game. So glad we were able to be there screaming our heads off. Nice. You saw a great one, Nicole. And for the creeps in the chat, Nicole's happily married. Her husband is in her profile picture. For those that may forget. John, it was a decently loud and great crowd. Pack channel, injured or not, you play the schedule given to you. For sure. You can only beat the team that's there. I will never be like, oh, they had injuries. No, I will never shed a tear for other teams' injuries. After what the Devils have been through over the past 3 seasons in terms of man games lost and 2 big-name players, you ain't going to take the shine off of any of this Devils team's wins. I don't care who's out of the lineup. Oh, Florida, Barkov and Kachuk were out. They're still stacked. They're still champions. I don't care if they lose 10 games in a row after that. We were part of their losing streak. And it doesn't make the win any less quality in my book. Putz Monkey, crowd was so loud tonight, lost my voice. Devil Heaven Ace, what's happening, you crazy rubberneck? What's going on? The boys have finally got the monkey off their back. 4 consecutive wins for your New Jersey Devils. Fired up, though. I mean, now I can't wait for Tuesday. I would love the boys to go put a beating on the Maple Leafs in Toronto and get a big win for Keefe. That would really be something. Wolf Rockin', what's going on? Hey, Ace, I was super pumped when I heard we got Browning. He's been in the Stanley Cup Finals the past 2 seasons. He brings a lot of experience in the postseason. I'm 100% getting a Brown jersey. Let's go Devils. Yeah, that'd be a nice one to get. That would definitely be a nice jersey. Y'all are soft. Brown reminds me a bit of my favorite NJ Devil ever, John Madden. Oh, love me some John Madden. Love John Madden. Underrated franchise legend. Nicole, we walked past Markstrom in his regular clothes by the locker room tonight. I'm still too anxious to say hi to people, but he looked good. Not that that means much. Good to see him, though. I mean, yeah, what do you he's not going to be like visibly limping around. But yeah, I mean, hopefully he recovers soon. But in the meantime, Jake the Snake is holding down the fort and looking like a beast. Absolute beast. Dwayne Jetski, why did Bill Spalding get canned? I don't know if there was a specific reason, and it was never announced. They just didn't renew his contract. We'll never really know why. Ace dressed up like Frank Rizzo. R-I-Z-Z-O. P-Funk kind of hated that Lazar goal at the end there, but that's the only negative I took from this game. What a win. Completely agree. Natural Canopy said, Anson, I don't know what your disability is, and I don't want to assume. However, I'm sure if you wanted to go, they could accommodate you. Randolph Redbeard, what is the best NJ Devils bar in Northern New Jersey? And don't say American whiskey. I don't know if there is one, to be honest. I don't think there's like a go-to Devils bar per se. There are a bunch of, I guess, official and unofficial watch parties. There's some that are done in conjunction with the team, I believe. And there's some that are like, I guess, independent. Someone else might know better than me. I typically do not like watching. I don't like watching games at bars because I kind of like to be like dialed in completely and be able to hear, which is like the biggest thing. And so I just don't like watching them, even if they have the sound like piping over the speakers or whatever. It's just not for me because I'm just not in my element. And I'm a creature of habit, and I like to watch it at home. I have a system, and I just like to do it that way as opposed to the bar. But for those that like the bar thing, do your thing. And maybe someone here could kind of better guide you. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be much help in that department, but I know the Devils do have some watch parties that are like kind of like official Devils watch parties for road games. And I think a lot of them are maybe at Calandra's, one of their big corporate sponsors. I think they have some watch parties there somewhat regularly. Oh, wait, shameless plug here. Follow your boy on X, trying to branch out a little bit and do some more things on X. I just dropped the link in the chat. If you're on X, follow your boy. I'm getting more involved on there. So please give me a follow on there, as well as Instagram. That link's in the bio. But if you just put in like running, what is the Instagram? I always forget because there's so many people registered with all kinds of stuff. That's running with the NJ Devils on Instagram. And the big contest is coming soon, guys. The monster giveaway show is going to be something special. I know a lot of you are probably like, you've been talking about this forever, but I'm finding more and more stuff, and there's going to be a lot of ways to win. A lot of ways to win indeed, and I'm going to try to reward the longtime viewers by doing some trivia that's kind of like channel specific, because when I start promoting this giveaway show, inevitably there's going to be a lot of people that are new or people that are casual watchers, which is fine. I mean, they have to win something too on the giveaway show. But I just dropped so follow me on X if you're not. I just dropped the link for Instagram in the chat as well. But I do want to have some things that are, that are for the people who've supported me in this little hobby passion project of mine. So shout out to all of you. I really appreciate it. Really cool. Hopefully the best is yet to come. But yeah, the giveaway show is going to be sick. There's going to be merchandise, apparel, memorabilia, all kinds of stuff. So I'm hoping to release the details for that soon, but there's going to be different things on different platforms. So follow your boy on everything. And I will be asking some channel specific stuff to give the longtime people who've been with me an advantage over some of the newcomers just looking to get some free stuff. Troy Machine, is Ace going to replay Trey Matthews for Locked On? Shout out to Trey. I just talked to him recently. No, I believe that I believe they found someone to replace him. I don't know if it started up yet or not. I'm kind of behind in everything. But I believe they have a new host who's going to be starting soon. M. Sharp, hope they win one for Keith in Toronto. Oh my God, I really can't. I'm trying to catch up here. Drop some likes, people. Yeah, like I said, I apologize. People sometimes get testy about the comments, but I can only read a portion of them, so I apologize. I'm trying to get caught up to the beginning, to current times here. Natural Canopy Ace, what's up, man? Busy with work in my boat. Went to the home opener, then scooped up a fresh Elias vintage jersey with 2000 cup patch, much needed. Nice. I love the 2000 jerseys. I love all the cup jerseys, to be honest. An Elias 2000, that's a real nice one. That is a real nice one. Schlovey get up. Rabid Monkeypox Ace dress for the baptism. Man, you guys are a brutal crowd. Slava, are we officially on a 4-game heater? We are officially on a 4-game heater, looking to make it 5 Tuesday night in Toronto. Win one for Coach. Win one for Sheldon Keefe, boys. This is a big one. Let's go. Oh, I hope we go to Toronto and brutalize them. That is going to be a phenomenal game. Nicole, that Brown goal was chef's kiss. It absolutely was. It absolutely was. What a beautiful shorty. Coming in on the breakaway and just finishing. And that's kind of the side I was on, too. So the goal was kind of right in front of me. Tasha, I own non-Devils clothing. I just don't like to wear it. Ace Epic. It's true. It's true, guys. M Sharp, take any pick in the press box of the gang. It's not when people hear press box, I think they think it's like a actual box. That's just what it's called, but it's really just like a very long ledge. Imagine a ledge that just runs like a bar ledge that just runs like the length of the rink. And so, I was kind of by myself out in the outfield. But like I said, I did end up talking to Christy. Shout out to Christy. Very nice. Very nice. Richard, what a great game. Let's go Devils. Nicole, you deserve the spot, Ace. We clearly all appreciate you. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. I appreciate your appreciation. Nickname for Don. I don't know. John Fay, as long as Jack doesn't play stupid and can play like he did in these 2 home games, he's going to hit 100 points. I would love to see the 100. I want to see him and Bratter both get it. To have 2 guys hit 100 points in the same season would be phenomenal. Slurp, Ace, you need to put on a tie so you look like the professional that you are. I think a tie. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys really. I mean, I didn't post a picture of myself, but this is not a suit. This is a sport coat and slacks as opposed to the full suit. I do feel that the full suit may have been overkill. And I don't want to come across as like the guy trying too hard. And I think a full suit may have done that. I'm not going to slander people out here, but if you saw what some of the people were wearing, you'd be like, oh my, like what I'm wearing is like, but, and I feel like the tie may have kind of went to that too. I think I did fairly well in terms of, I think this is like the appropriate level of, I guess, fanciness. But maybe one day I'll go full suit and tie on him if I get a chance to go back. I don't know, but I don't want to be like, the guy that looks like he's trying too hard. So it's kind of a slippery slope, but I never want to be underdressed either. So it's very hard. And like I said, I've never been there before. I've seen photos and talked to a bunch of people, but everyone kind of has their own thing. Dean Smith, glad you got the spot. Will it be a regular thing? That's to be determined. I would love for it to be. I don't know whether that is a reality or not, but we'll see. We will see. M Sharp, I'm going to shout out to the Devils for putting you in the press box. So I appreciate that. Tasha, I mean, it's true. You really, I guess you, sorry, I'm like a little, I mean, it's true. You have really high quality content, which only is backed up by the proof that during the Canes series, so many Canes fans were here and saying they wish they had a U for Carolina. Well, I really much appreciate that, Tasha, and I appreciate the Canes fans that said that. I'm kind of surprised that they don't have any sort of like prominent fan something. I feel like I don't do a ton of research. Once in a while, I'll poke around and just kind of look at other teams' stuff. And I feel like most teams have at least a few people or a few entities kind of covering the team. But maybe somehow Carolina slipped through the cracks. Lobsty, Ace, you are the only Devils only content YouTuber that live streams consistently after every game. You definitely should be a part of the media. Well, thank you, Lobsty. I appreciate that. I do think that as time goes on, and even this season, there are way more and more people trying to, I guess, make some sort of content or all the different things that it seems like every so often there's new people trying to do something. And, there's not like a limit to there can only be a couple, there's, I think, ample room for however many people for whatever team it may be. But I do think that history has shown that it is not easy to grow a real audience for certain teams. Like the Devils are a small market team. Let's be real. So obviously they don't have the amount of fans or people actively seeking out videos or whatever it may be anywhere near the frequency of other teams. And so I do think for Devils specifically, and I guess this happens to other teams as well, people pop up, they'll try to do something to kind of make some traction. And when they realize how time consuming it is and how difficult it is in terms of kind of gaining momentum, I think they become discouraged and then just kind of stop. And I totally get that too. I have thought about kind of maybe not fully stopping, but I've thought about dialing back plenty of times because this stuff does take a lot of time. And a lot of people are, in a kind of results-driven mindset. And so if they're not achieving the results or somewhere near the results that they're expecting, they get discouraged or they say, my time is better spent with something else. So I'm not going to do this anymore. And I've certainly thought about dialing it back a lot because it is a significant time investment and to some extent a financial investment as well, depending on what we're talking about. But like equipment's not cheap. Sometimes I would go to events that I may not have gone to for my own personal kind of situation, but I felt like I should because it's kind of something people want to see. So it's a very kind of slippery slope for a lot of people, but I really appreciate that, Lobsty. It means a lot. M Sharp, love when Jack said the team loves when the fans get on the refs. Yeah, I liked that quote, and I also liked the quote from Timo. For those that did not see, Jack said something along the lines of, we want to be a difficult building to play in. The crowd was getting on the refs. Like, that's all positive stuff, and the team feeds off it. And it's true. Like, the louder and crazier your building is, the more of a home ice advantage it is. That is what home ice advantage is predicated on. You want teams to dread going into your barn. Like, oh, shit, we got to go play the Devils in Jersey. Like, that's what you want. a crazy crowd that gets on the refs, intimidates the opposing team. And on some nights, I do think we have that. It's not always, but I think as a fan base, we're kind of slowly getting there. But Timo said the same thing. Like, we want New Jersey to be a difficult place to play. And that is when you have a real home ice advantage. Collect Records, thank you for the super. Just got back down to the beach from the game. Great team effort and win. Shout out to our boy Brown for fitting in like a glove. Let's go Devils. Thank you very much, Collect Records. Yeah. Connor Brown, beast mode. Absolute beast mode. Connor Brown, great addition. Love to see it. And hopefully this is just the beginning for him. I mean, what is the upper kind of limit for him? Can he be a 25 goal guy? Can he be a 30 goal guy? I mean, if Connor Brown popped off for even 25 goals, it would be something truly special. And I don't think it's out of the question. All right, I fell behind again. It's happened again. Dimitri, even Crosby prefers the 1-8 format. Teams should be rewarded. Yeah, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I don't like the current format. And we keep seeing the same matchups. Like, I think it's time to go back to the 1 versus 8. Makar also said he wants the 1-8 format. Maybe we eventually see the switch. Oh my God. Ace, you look like that guy in Walking Dead. I never saw that show. Searle, Brown is the epitome of this team's identity. Traveling Devil, Jack is back. The confidence he must have got from his game hopefully sets him off from here on out. Oh, hopefully. Let's go. Let's go. Stickfix says, Ace, the Devils win the Stanley Cup in 26, 27, and 30 under Tom Fitzgerald. You forgiving him? I am not. I'm petty. Yeah, at that point, 3 cups, yeah. Maybe not for just 1, but 3. I think I would have to let bygones be bygones. The Insane Pollock, proud to be the owner of an original heavier hedger, more violent running shirt. Nice. Thank you for ordering. SST says you need to put SST hate on your merch. I would never give you that level of I don't even know what you want to call it, relevance. Devil Heaven, A Studios coming together, dude. Red lights, Roxanne, turn on the red light. I still have some tweaks to do, but this is for now. You know, I have a couple small tweaks I've been meaning to get to that I hopefully do soon. I have a long-term vision of something totally different that I would love to have, but I don't have the space to be able to pull it off right now. And so like the Devils Museum, it's kind of just parked in my head as a blueprint at the moment. John NJ Devils 45. Jake Allen is playing like a beast in net. Yes, he is. Yes, he is a complete beast. And what another beautiful signing by Fitz this summer that no one ever saw coming. $1.8 million. I could have never seen it. David Chimes, Ace on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the NHL debut of Jacob Josephson, which, by the way, was Josef. It wasn't PH, it was F. And 10 being Stevens knocking out Lindros in the playoffs. How pumped for this team are you right now? That's quite a wide range. 1 being the Josephson debut and 10 being Stevens. Stevens knocking out Lindros in the playoffs. I jumped off my couch as a 15-year-old into the air, and my head almost probably hit the ceiling. If that's a 10, how pumped am I for this team right now? 7.7? 7.7-ish, I would say, David. You know, and as you know, if they play like this all year and we're into like mid-March and they're still looking like this and they've been consistent the whole way, I'll be at like a mid-8s. Rob says, Ace, can you put on a Devil's hat on? Episode doesn't seem official without you wearing Devil's gear. I don't want to mess up my hair though, because I might have to go somewhere after this. And so I really don't want to mess up my hair. What if I put the Marty mask on like this? Someone who I won't say said the Devils were going to go 3-7. A Bronx Tale is one of my favorite movies of all time. Give her the give her the crazy Mario test. Might be my favorite movie of all time. Slurp says, come on, Ace, entertain us and put on a Devil's tie. I don't even know. I have multiple Devil's ties. I just don't know where they are. Matt sat in the Verizon Lounge tonight, a.k.a. Ace's section. What a game. What a game and what a great lounge that is, right, Matt? What did you think of it? I love the Verizon. It's definitely going to be in the rotation for me during the season. Army, RWT, running with the Devils, koozies or shot glasses would be dope. Interesting. A bow tie. I didn't think of that. That's interesting. Traveling Devil, thumbs up for Fitz on the brown pickup. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. All right, I can't balance this mini Marty helmet on my head anymore. I would put the hat on, but my hair is going to get messed up. And like I said, I might be going. I feel like I'm already dressed up. I might as well go somewhere, right? I mean, I could always find somewhere to go. And so I think I might be out on the town. Bobby, thank you for the super, sir. What's up, Ace? Listen, I'm not going to complain because we played a great game, but Palat can't miss a wide open net like that, and that last goal by Lazar can't happen any under circumstance. No, I agree. Palat hopefully starts to pick it up soon, and we start seeing him kind of activate. But it's hard for me to really even find these nitpicky things outside of the Timo and Power Play 1 will always be one that kind of strikes a chord for me. But yeah, the Lazar goal, very annoying. Like in a different game, I mean, and maybe they would have played it entire. They would have played differently had the game been closer. But yeah, I hate to see goals like that. Like at the end, where it's just like, why give that up? I don't really like that. But thank you very much, Bobby. Really appreciate that. People fighting SST. Traveling Devil, thumbs up for Fitz on the brown pickup. And your 4-1 New Jersey Devils. What a time to be a Devils fan, folks. My man Brian, what's up, Ace? What's your prediction for Tuesday's game? Ooh. And I did. So for those that don't know, in my vlog, I did predict last game a 3-1 Devils win. And I think my predictions were Gritsuk, Jack, and Bratter as the goal scorers. I got the score right and one of the goal scorers for that one against the Panthers. I think I predicted early on for tonight's game or this afternoon's game. I think I predicted 4-2. Which obviously didn't happen, but it wasn't too far off. What is my prediction for Tuesday's game? Tuesday's game. I can't say yet. I got to do a little more research. I will have a prediction before the game, but I got to do a little research. More people fighting SST. Unhinged Devs fan, Sopranos might be the greatest show of all time. I think it is. Dire Wolf, we're also missing 3 bottom 6 guys and a starting goalie. Everyone deals with injuries. No, it's true, but this is a lot of injuries. M Sharp says, throw some glasses on Ace with the bow tie. Alexander says, I watched the first game and we got dusted. Ever since I've been listening to Chico call the games on radio. I know what I must do. You're welcome, Devils Nation. Are you listening on the radio in conjunction with watching, or are you strictly listening with no video whatsoever? Because that I would never be able to do. What's going on, James? Finally, 4 consecutive wins. All right. Traveling says 1 more game to call it a heater. I guess everyone has a different kind of outlook on that. Pack Channel, did you see the Rat lose his mind versus Buffalo? That might be the only clip I saw from other games because I was at the game kind of busy doing all that stuff and then got home and jumped on here with you folks. I did see him he ripped the straps or something out of Darlene's helmet and then threw it back on the ice from the penalty box. It was pretty funny. More people fighting SST. Matt says, Stage House in Mountainside, Arlette's boyfriend owns it. That's pretty cool. I did not know that. Craig, Kia Ora Ace, Devils weather another storm in the first to make it 4 in a row. Let's go, Devils. Stickfix says, Ace, you love Twitter, admit it. No, definitely not. But it's like one of those things you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. More people fighting SST. All right, I'm trying to get caught up here because I fell super far behind. Tosh said, Ace, if you wear a tie, you're going to look like the NJD season ticket worker cronies. Yeah, no, I don't. I think the tie is overkill. I don't think I'm going to do it. John NJ Devils, the elevator ride getting to the press box sucks. Did it take long, Ace? Always long wait? No, it was very quick. Very quick for sure. Not bad at all. Traveling said should have went there dressed like Don Cherry. He had some crazy suits. Don Cherry had some wild suits that were probably only upstaged by, now I guess they're kind of on the same page for people that watch basketball. Craig Sager. Don Cherry had some crazy, I'm actually looking at Google Images right now. I mean, my God. Some crazy suits from Don Cherry. And for those that aren't familiar, he had the old school Rock'em Sock'em VHS tapes. I'm sure there's clips of that. Clips of that all over the internet. Traveling said, NHL asked a few players what was the hardest arena to play a visiting game at, and they said Carolina. Not surprising. Stickfig says, if PBA gets called back up, he needs to dress the Nines red jacket, black trousers, white shirt, Devil's tie, and lapel pin leather watch with Devil's watch face, and Spirit Halloween devil horns. That's probably a good way to get a restraining order. John NJ Devils 45. Ace has the best Devils content around. Been loyal since day one. I appreciate that, John. Thank you. Thank you. Devil have an Ace favorite Devils GMs of all time. I mean, there's one. There's one GM. The GM. Uncle Lou. Traveling to the SST. Maybe you could fill the spot for Canes fans and start a channel like Aces for Carolina. Finally got the streak for Devil. 4-game streak. The gated shifts that I hear you. I ran a hockey blog back in the early 2010s, and it's extremely difficult consistently pumping out content. Much respect and congrats on the thing. Thank you. Tasha said the beach is crazy. I don't think I went to the beach once this season. Really? So we had some great summer days in New Jersey. The switch is never going to happen with Gary. I mean, I think the owners could force it. Maybe it's not his kind of preferred thing, but if the owners were like, well, the fans want this, so we want to give the fans what they want, I think it could happen. But maybe it's just another one of those things that does not change until he's gone. But I think, you hear tons of people and media types talk about how the old format is substantially better. I actually don't think I know anyone who's a hockey fan who legitimately wants the current format over the old one. I don't think I know one person. It's like, it's kind of frustrating that so many people are in agreement on it, and it's just not what's going to happen. But it is what it is. Honorary boo for Bettman. Mark, first-time listener, long-time caller, bringing back the Jack Daniels to celebrate. Jack being back. Let's go Devils. Nice. Pack said Alex Widerspiel, new host of Locked On Devils. There you have it. Tosh said Ace is never going to stop hearing about the suit now. It's technically not a suit. I've appeared on the show in a suit. This is not a suit. This is just a jacket and slacks. Very different. Snow Devil, to give credit where it's due, I think both of Brown's even strength goals were assisted by Grits. They were. Would be really difficult to keep up the performance without Grits on his line. I agree. But I think like I said from a while ago, I think we're going to see a bunch of different combinations at different times And I think Grits will kind of make whoever he's playing with look good. But yeah, he had the first assist was the one where he came up the wing and threw it across the net mouth, and Brown had a stick blade and popped it up. And then the other one was the drop pass when Grits came in and just dropped it behind and Brown ripped it. Beautiful passes and beautiful finishes. Pro Bowl Forever, Pulp Fiction is probably my favorite crime film of all time. That is a phenomenal film. Pulp Fiction is intense. Mark said, Ace going to Vancouver to go talk to Quinn after this. Henson being dressed to the nines in this live. Vancouver is a hike. A far hike. Del 11 Ace, best tickets to get at Prue. I would say that depends on what you're looking for. Everyone has different kind of preferences or what they're looking to get out of their game experience. And so it's hard for me to give a blanket answer to that because it would depend on kind of what was important to you, if that makes sense. Yeah, this is a dumb inside joke, but no, I'm definitely not. But I heard you're building a new wing of it, though. Robbie's bench toss. You've got to get Devils custom lining added to your sport coats if you're spending time in the press box Ace. I hope I get to spend more time in there, but and that might not be the case. I'm certainly not going to go start getting custom liners of sport coats just yet. Traveling says Tuesday is going into OT. I certainly hope not. I would love to just smack them down. Steven said, I definitely don't like the late goals we're giving up. Neither do I. Zach, 4-game heater. How you doing? Oh, it's a heater. For the first time in almost 3 years, a 4-game winning streak is upon us, and it is beautiful. Anson, how much money for the buffet access from the vlog? So it's only open to the media, so it's not like other people could get this, but it was $10. Great value in this economy. $10 for a decent buffet setup. Pretty much on par with a lot of the stuff you'd get inside. I mean, I'm sure it's probably all coming from the same couple kitchens. Lobsy said, I can't go too much games because ever since I've sat in the lounge, I'm spoiled. I don't want to go back to the regular seats. Yeah, welcome to my life. After the first time I was in a lounge, I was like, don't make me go back. This is the life. I can't go back. So now I did go in the preseason, but it was a swift reminder of how I can't be in the Gen Pop. It's just from going from the Sweet Life to Gen Pop. It's just the lines and, and my whole life I was out there in the regular seats, but after I got a taste of the Sweet Life, it's hard to go back. Oh God. And now SST's in here with his burner account. I can't. The entry season ticket cronies would show up at your gravestone and ask why they haven't heard from you. I mean, they got a job to do, guys. They got to move these units. I get emails every so often. Matt, you look at our schedule for October. I'd be shocked if we were 4-1. Was hoping to go 6-5, but right now let's go for 8 wins. I mean, 4-1 is a beautiful, beautiful position to be in, and hopefully they keep building on it. Alex has a Hank bobble in the background of his streams. He has a phony and a fake. Locked on Devils is dead. I don't even know what that is. I mean, I know what the channel is, but I guess is he a Ranger fan, you're saying? I don't know. Seabone's looking good, Ace. All dressed up for the Devils' 4th win. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Alexander the Greg. Ace, I'm strictly listening to the games while I do chores or workouts. It's definitely not the same, but I think Matt and Chico do a commendable job. Oh, no, I love listening to them if you have no other option, but, watching a game versus listening is wildly different. James, also regarding the Ice Vault, it's a small bar and a hockey rink, so you can absolutely focus on the game when watching there. Wait, what? Is this... Are you talking about In the Crease Sports Pub? Is that the name of it? I'm doing a quick little Google here. I never knew that there was a bar in the Ice Vault. Is that the right one? Is that the right one, James? In the crease? True Patriot. Holy, 4 in a row. We did it. Yes, they did. True Patriot Ace. I'm late to the show. Did you upgrade today? What's with the suit, dog? I was in the press box. I'm now calling it PBA, press box Ace. So not my usual Devils attire. Tasha said, "Oh, $10 the press one is sweet." I thought we were talking about the M Lounge. No, the M Lounge tickets are all over the place. They're usually at least a couple $100 and sometimes more, depending on the opponent. Snow Devil, like Nico's 13 in his suit jacket on the red carpet. Got to find his guy in Hoboken who makes his suits. I'd imagine they're probably imported and they're very expensive. I don't think I could afford the custom suits from wherever Nico buys them, but it's certainly maybe I'll have to do a little investigation into that. Mark, top tier jacket from Ace. What a great time to be a Devs/sports fan. Absolutely incredible weather in Jersey this weekend. Enjoy it, mis amigos. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. We're the haters who were 4, 6, 3, and 7. They're in hiding. They're in hiding as they should be because they know what they said and they know that they're going to be taken to task. But I'm just waiting. They have a couple more days. I should see a mass deposit of apologies in the comments. But if I don't, the samurai sword is coming out. The samurai sword is coming out, and I'm going Kill Bill. Clean off. Heads are coming clean off. Tasha said it goes Gen Pop, Sweet Life, PBA. Well, the view is definitely better from the Sweet Life, but in terms of my overall, preference, I have to give PBA top billing. But the view is definitely not the same as the Sweet Life. True Patriot Ace, fresh off a crazy hockey weekend. Devs home opener, Quinnipiac home opener, both dubs, baby. Let's go. Very nice. Nice. Tasha said, I've seen some Rangers Ace dupe doing live streams before. Definitely have considered joining and stirring up trouble before, but I've never stooped to something that Ranger fan level low. I have no idea what that's in reference to, but that's interesting. Maria, congrats, Ace, on moving up to the press box. Thanks. It was a one-game thing, but thank you. I hope I make it back eventually. He must be a Rangers fan. The long time didn't want to. Yeah, so I don't know what that is. Steven said, Ace, are you playing fantasy football again this year? How's the team looking? Somehow, despite my number one pick in Neighbors going down, and again, I don't follow this very thoroughly. I try to, I keep abreast of my guys in my fantasy team. But right now, I am sitting in third place in the league at 4-2, and doing okay. But with Neighbors going down, I've had some really close calls the past couple of weeks. I pulled out wins. But I am nervous about my ability to make it back. I think I lost in the finals last year to make it back to the championship. Sherry said, admittedly, I was pissing and moaning after game 1, but they're proving me wrong. Let's go Devils. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Were those Chief Keef haters 4-1? More fighting in the chat. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Jake, 900 save percentage tonight. Got to clean up those late goals. D needs to tighten up. Yeah. the late goals against is kind of annoying. Luckily, it didn't, truly matter for anything other than kind of putting a damper on Jake's numbers. Falker Sports Cards went to the game today with my 6-year-old daughter, her first game. Think we have a new good luck charm. Let's go Devils. Nice. Did she like it? And more importantly, did you get her first game certificate from the team? True Patriot, come on. Who cares about other streams? Ace Chico said today on broadcast, Nason is close to returning. Yeah, I mean, he's been skating with the team, and I thought there was a chance he was going to return today because before the Florida game, Keefe said he wasn't necessarily ruled out. And then obviously later on, they're like, he's not playing today. So then the natural kind of hypothesis would be like, okay, well, he was close today. He didn't make it for the Panther game. Maybe we see him against the Oilers. Maybe he makes his debut in Toronto. Or maybe they're just messing with us and he doesn't come back for a little bit. But either way, he should be back soon enough. Selected boy, what's going on? What's up, Devils, folks, and Ace? Amagi, I saw Kovacevic driving away as I was walking to my car. I yelled at him and said he's the man, and he smiled and waved at me. Can't wait for that dude to be back on the ice. Heavier, edgier, more violent. Can't wait to see him back. True Patriot, Chico said Nason has been practicing close to returning. James, wait, the Devils have first game certificates? I believe they still have it. I forget exactly where it is, but somewhere on the concourse, you can go and get your first game certificate for your first New Jersey Devils game. I forget where. Oh, yeah. Falker Sports Card. She had a blast, was engaged all game, and yes, we got her certificate. Nice. Did you get her some good junk food, too? What are 6-year-olds picking out as the junk food at these places nowadays? Is she like typical ice cream? Was there like some candy she wanted? I know the kids go nuts every time they see all this stuff. SST, if everyone had 8 burner accounts like I do and subscribes to this channel from all of them, Running would have had 50K subs and started a media company. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Tosh said, I wish I got my first game certificate, but too late now. So I wonder if they could just like make it for you for a different game. Like, I actually don't remember what they look like. So, Tasha, you probably could get one like retroactively made for whatever your first game was. I don't see why they couldn't do that. True Patriot, I feel like that is a huge addition getting Nason back. It is going to be. I'm curious to see, like, again, where if he's going to really be on the fourth line and all that. I imagine, yeah, they'll just bump Hallonen out and maybe start Nason on the fourth line and kind of see from there. Amagi, did you see the Heritage Kitchen for the month? I did not. I was not out in the general concourse at all today. Usually I'm out there at least for a couple minutes, even if I'm in a suite. But today, it just takes too long to maneuver around. Like, the arena's big, and from where I was just kind of, soaking in the press box situation. Amagi said, first game certificate is at guest services on the main concourse. Okay. Get first game certificate outside the BMW lounge by section 8. There's confirmation. First game certs can be picked up by the customer service window by section 8. Falker Sports Cards, chicken fingers before the game, popcorn first intermission, ice cream second intermission. That's a solid outing for your daughter. She got some chicken tendies, popcorn, and ice cream. Staples. Those are childhood staples across the board. Lobsy said, after every win, I like how Don says, put a pitchfork in it. It definitely sounds like something I'd use a lot and even put on posters for games if they even win when I go. Amagi said, Heritage Kitchen looks incredible. A dude had that Korean fried chicken in front of me, almost snatched the bowl from him. Korean fried chicken, huh? Talk to yourself. Running Spouts propaganda? What? I don't even know what this... How I got here, Jeremy Proper. What was the press box food like? It was decent. I think it was literally probably the same stuff that was in some of the lounges. If I had to imagine, they probably just make a little bit extra. typical stuff. The sandwiches were whatever, but the cheesesteak was very good. Onion rings were pretty good. Lego Rocks 99. Is that the channel that he does like the voiceovers with the video games? I used to watch his stuff back like a while ago. I think is that the channel with the I think he does the voiceovers over like weird games, weird teams playing in the hockey game. Tasha Damagi sounds amazing. Is that what it is this time? We'll definitely check it out for Wednesday. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go explore a little bit on the concourse. James, bringing my nieces to a game sometime this season. It'll be my 6-year-old niece's second game and my 4-year-old niece's first game. I'm going to have to get that certificate. Very nice. You got to get it. Got to get him the certificate and maybe a little souvenir of some kind. True Patriot Ace, super important team wins in Toronto for Keefe, man. They let one slip last year and it stung. Yeah, they got to get it. They got to get it. Hopefully they do it big for Keefe this time around. Would love to see this team go 5-1 and get a big dub in Toronto for Coach. That would be awesome. Amagi did a few different menu items: fried chicken, a cheesesteak, some kind of bulgogi, and the shrimp bowl thing. Heritage Kitchen is always worth checking out each month. Yeah, I think it's like rotating, right? John NJ Devils 45. When is the Running with the Devils pregame hang at a bar in Newark? Let's go. Eventually, we'll figure that out for sure. Anson, he's reporting Tage going to New Jersey and Tuck to Vancouver. Oh, boy. I think he do a lot of rumor stuff. I feel like he did a lot of clickbaity kind of stuff. And don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm not hating on him for it, but I feel like a lot of these people engage in the clickbait kind of stuff. Nicole, our lounge buffet did not serve onion rings. I'm jealous. What lounge were you in, Nicole? Did you have the bow tie pasta? I bet you that was in all the lounges. That seemed like something that would have been everywhere. Amagi, speaking of souvenirs, why do they make enough home opener pucks for like 25 Devil fans? I saw that. I didn't see it till after the fact. I guess you weren't able to get one, Amagi. Ryder, solid game, boys. Missed the whole post game with family activities. Let's go Devils. Let's go Devils. Your New Jersey Devils, our beloved New Jersey Devils, folks, are 4-1. After starting off the season 0-1 in Carolina, where many of you just completely wrote off an entire season based on one game against our arch nemesis who have owned us for years. And you saw that game, which, mind you, the game was tied late in the game with a few minutes left. Devils couldn't get it done. They lose the game. The score ends up being lopsided because of the way the end of the game played out. But the Devils were tied up in it late. And many of you were just wrote off an entire season at that point, which I said at the time was completely psychotic and ill-advised. And here we are. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Did you chat up any press in the box? No, pretty much the only person I talked to, as I mentioned before, was Christy. James, I think the younger one is going to be into it. I got the oldest one a Devils mascot doll at her first game, and just recently the youngest one had a sports theme show and tell. She stole the mascot, and it cliffhanger. Amagi, just like last season, I didn't even see the puck in the main den, and I got there pretty early. Yeah, sometimes I feel like the amounts of things are, they don't make enough. It is what it is. Ryder, never had a doubt. Grits and Nemitz are coming along slowly, too. Exciting times. Wow. Maria says, I have a feeling we'd beat Carolina if we played them tomorrow. It's possible, but they really know how to neutralize the Devils. They've gotten very kind of used to the Devils and I think their tendencies, and they're well coached and they have good players. And so I think they've kind of figured out how to give the Devils the most trouble consistently. And it's going to be on Keefe and the rest of the coaching staff. And it's going to be on Keefe and the rest of the coaching staff to to make those adjustments and game plan to beat them when we play them again in January. It is annoying constantly losing to the Canes, and it's been going on forever. It's got to end. Like, it just, if this team is going to have any success, and I think Dougie said that after the first game, he was like, if this team's going to go anywhere this year, we have to be able to beat that team in that building, which is very true. If you can't beat the Canes, you're going nowhere. Now, obviously, there's a world where we could get lucky and someone else knocks them out for us, and whatever else. But, you know, you got to build a team and implement systems to knock them out. And I think the Devils will eventually get it right. I would love to beat them en route to winning a cup. Someone talked about like the dream. I think maybe it may have even been in the preseason. I forget who did it, and I wish I wrote it down. But someone was talking about like the dream path to win a cup. And it was like which teams would be the best to knock out. And I think it was like, I forget the order of them, but I want to say it was like Rangers, Hurricanes, Panthers, and then Avs. It may have been traveling, actually. It was basically like avenging all of our old like, you know, scores that we have to settle. Or maybe not scores, but like teams you would like to beat because they beat us on some big stage. It was like the revenge tour. Let me see. I'm scrolling over here. They gave out gold coins for the home's opener. The Panthers home opener was like Stanley Cup coins. Matt, I love watching Sieg shut down the opposition. He's been unbelievable so far. Yeah, I mean, Sieg's really, you know, a lot of people kind of gave him flack a few years back, and I think he was injured, honestly, because last year we saw a new and improved Siegenthaler, and maybe it really was the injury from the season before that was kind of hampering him and really affecting his play, because last year he looked like a different guy. Shout out to Siegs, a rock back there on D, for sure. Amagi, they never make enough. Teams have had their hockey fights cancer for sale for ages, but the Devils one vanishes in a couple days entirely. I don't know enough about that to comment. This is all inventory planning, I guess. Either poor inventory planning or, you know, I don't know. Tasha, excited for the mini game. Going to be in the lower bowl. Very nice. Very nice. You're going to see the $17 million a year man in Kaprizov. M Sharp, Ace dissecting and making his own food concoctions in the blog is worth the watch. Tasha said, Ace, can you just ban one of SST's accounts? It's basically just spam in the chat. I have to believe that the other name is him. Ryder, I can't single out a single person on our D that is performing poorly. Yeah, the D is, again, one of the strong elements of this team. Great defense, great goaltending. And with the top six being fairly solid, with regular contributions in the bottom six, this team smells like it could be a contender, my friends. Smells like it could be a contender. Tasha said, hopefully the Rangers are stuck in the 10-year plus rebuild. Oh, you'd love to see it. You'd love to see it. How I got here, Jeremy Proper. Yeah. Sorry, Stanley Cup coin embroidered 2025 Stanley Cup. Very cool. Very cool. Snow Devil. Ace wears a suit when he meets the Hughes brothers. Luke signs. Ace wears a suit in the press box. Win a fourth. 8 in a suit in the live, and he's caught up on the chat. That's because I made a conscious effort earlier because I got so far behind that I just skipped like a 20-minute block. Rangers just tied it up. Amagi says, Wild Game is dirt cheap. Got a row 3 on Devil's attack side in the hundreds for like $13. Wow. Keep up the poverty franchise taunting from the rags. You can't afford the garden. Logan says, I'd love to see Dougie play tighter defense. Bum, bum, bum. Ryder says, Hallinan just isn't NHL material. This was probably his last game anyways. Imagine getting Nason to replace him imminently. Yeah, and I'm curious if is that really going to be where Nason kind of settles down, or is that just kind of the beginning? I don't think he wants to play on the fourth line. Now, obviously, the rest of the team and kind of how we're doing will dictate that. And who knows, maybe we do find a great balance with him on the fourth line. But I'm sure he's going to be trying to play his way off of that. I mean, that would be, I can't see him being there long term, but who knows? Maybe if everything else is looking good top to bottom, they're like, sorry, man, like this is where you slot in perfectly. But to go from top 6 role at points last year in power play 1 to then fourth liner, I don't know. That could be. That could be a lot. Tasha said Hallinan is definitely not an NHL player. Nicole said, Tasha, I'm pretty sure you're able to block him so you don't see this stuff. Wow. Who else was at the game tonight? All right, guys. I have to run to the bathroom real quick. 2 minutes. I will start winding it down slowly, but thoughts. I do like the suggestions. I haven't been getting a lot of suggestions, but throw out suggestions for stuff you like, you don't like, whatever ideas or suggestions you have, throw it out there. Like I said, like I always say, I can't guarantee that I could accommodate or do them, but I certainly like to see the feedback. I'm like rolling over. I dropped a bunch of crap on the floor and I'm rolling over it. Yeah, throw out some suggestions and stuff in the, oh my God, this thing's like wound around my neck. Wonk. Throw out some suggestions in the chat. And I'll be back in 2 minutes. Oh, Tasha, the food tour is happening. I have so many things, and there's going to be a lot of stuff coming soon. I know I feel like I'm saying that a while, but stuff has been happening. Back in 2 minutes using the bathroom. Suggestions, thoughts, comments, whatever. Anything, everything New Jersey Devils hockey, you just throw it out there in the comments, and I'll be right back. And, yeah, I think, I might as well find some trouble to get into tonight, right? I think so. Back in 2 minutes. Throw it out there. Be right back. I got to hydrate better. I had a lot of salt. I'm a little parched. Chugging water's like it's going out of style. All right. Magi, you should do a monthly Heritage Kitchen review. It'd be cool because you're supporting a local business and you're helping out Devils fans, since a lot are unaware that you get good food at the Rock. Yeah, it's just tough because most of the time I am in the lounge, and then like to leave the lounge and go, but maybe I'm trying to think. The next time I'm at a game, maybe I'll like starve myself for days before I go so that I'm ravaged. And I'll get there right when it opens. I'll go to Heritage Kitchen, do a couple reviews, and then proceed to the lounge for the regular scheduled feasting, not including clubs, of course. Amagi's really selling this Heritage Kitchen. I'm starting to think he might be part owner of it or something. When that dude had that bowl of fried chicken, the woman sitting behind him immediately asked where he got it because you could smell how amazing it was, let alone how superb it looked. Never fails. Okay. M. Sharp says, I'm hungry now. I'm always hungry. Ryder says, Jack and Bratt will break 100 this year. My hot take for the season. Oh, man, I'd be ecstatic if one of them did it. If they both did it, it'd be insane. Insane. Antonio, what's up? Newer fan about 5+ years later at the beginning of the season, praying for a healthy team and pushing through. Yeah, if they stay healthy, look out, kids. This New Jersey Devils club is not last year's club, and I do think this team is going to do some significant damage. I'm trying to see some stats here, but I don't think they're readily available yet because it's early in the season. But I want to see. Oh my God. All right, so hold on. I do have this first stat to share with you. Let me clip this. I'm just clipping this to share. So we look at league-wide power plays. League-wide power plays is what we're talking here. And the Devils currently in 7th. Still early on in the season, and many of these teams are going to trail off, obviously. But my God, the Wild are at an astonishing 43.5% on the power play right now, leading the league through 5 games. Their penalty kill is not that great, but power play 43.5%. Stars in the number 2 spot, 38.5. And these are some crazy ones early in the season. Sharks 31.3, Golden Knights 28.6, Sabres 27.8 with a losing record, Ducks 26.7, and there are your New Jersey Devils. Our beloved New Jersey Devils in 7th at 25%. I imagine they'll probably hover around this number all year. And as time goes on and other people's power plays come back to life, that number 7 Devils team will slowly start ascending towards the top of the ranks. And it'll be interesting to see where it kind of ends on the year. But I think somewhere around that 23-25% is where it'll fall. And then we go on the other end. We go on the other end of this thing. And no surprise here. Bear with me while I do my paste job here to clip this. We look at the old penalty kill. So Devils right now 10th in power play with a very good 25%. We go to the PK. And your New Jersey Devils, my New Jersey Devils, our beloved New Jersey Devils, solidly in the number 2 spot with 95% on the PK. You'd love to see it. And it's crazy that the Sabres have the number 1 PK. So the Sabres, are, with a losing record, have the number 1. This got to be discouraging. They have the number 1 penalty kill in the league, and they're 5th in power play. Both of their special teams are ahead of the Devils. Devils are 7th on the power play. Sabres are a 5th ranked power play, and the Sabres are number 1 in the PK, and they're still not good. I mean, it's unfortunate. And hopefully we can be the recipient of a trade deadline sale, potentially. A lot of people are on the Tuck wagon now. Alex Tuck on this team would be really something. But the penalty kill doing exactly what we thought. 95%, second best in the league. And I expect they'll be in contention for the best one in the league when it's all said and done at the end of the year. Keeping up with the Devils, I think if the Devils beat Toronto, they will beat the Wild and Sharks. They would also have a real shot at beating Colorado. Are we going to go on an extended heater like a few years ago? I would love to. A double-digit heater would be insane. Ryder, does Grit score his first goal in the next game? Would love to see it. I really wanted to see it in one of these 2 games at home. I thought there was a good chance he was going to break through and get one. Unfortunately, it did not happen. But hopefully soon. Tasha said, if you starve yourself, your stomach shrinks, then you can't eat as much. I learned this recently, so I've had to switch up the Thanksgiving strategy. I've heard that before, but I've never felt that happen. I've done a couple fasts and things leading up to food heavy events, but maybe that's just because I have superhuman eating consumption powers to where unfortunately my stomach can never shrink, but I have heard people say that before. Amagi, it's just really poorly promoted. They could do a Chico Eats for it each month, but instead they kind of mention it in passing, so a ton of people are unaware of it. And Burrito, you've been talking about the Burrito for a while. Nicole says, I agree. Small local businesses need and deserve the exposure. I'm all for I am all for small business, so I definitely will eventually make it to this Heritage Kitchen and do a thorough food review. Anson, if you could only have one for the rest of your life, what should you choose? Chocolate or vanilla and cinnamon? So you lose chocolate or lose vanilla and cinnamon. Are you talking about ice cream or what are we talking about? Are we talking about in general? Colleen, Ace, if you're going to do a new line of merch, please consider baseball caps. I got my heavier, edgier, more violent shirt, but I had to pass on the beanies. Not a good look on me. Yeah, that one wasn't great. I like the design, and I thought more people would like that for the winter than the baseball hats, but it turns out baseball hats are supreme. I like all types of hats. I've thought about a hat as well. Look for a hat this season. I think we'll do a hat of some kind. You've been raided by a Ranger fan? Yeah, I don't know how Buffalo has the number 1 PK, but they do. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, someone said the Panthers went 0 for 8 on the power play. So if that'll boost it for sure. They just shut out the Panthers. Yeah, 8 of 8 versus Florida. That'll definitely shoot you up the ladder. Tasha said, I've kind of hopped on the tuck wagon, just not for 4 firsts like Ace said. I didn't say 4 firsts. Who said 4 firsts? I never said that. I would pay a nice price for him. 4 firsts is insane. Jersey Roots, AO, Paisan, and all the other Dirty Devil barbarians. Hello, hello. Anson Ace, UFC tonight. RDR fighting Brendan Allen. There's just so many UFC fights. I can't even keep up with it anymore. So many fights. Dogzilla, Hallinan looked okay on the 4th line. He made some good decisions and was not a liability. Yeah. I want to see LeChance get a crack at some point. Amagi said, when I go to the clubs, I don't eat all day, then proceed to make horrible decisions at the Rock. It's true. Tab says, best game for Jack since when? Obviously, his best game of the year, so you would have to be going back to before he was injured last year. Yeah, I guess what was his last 2-goal game last year before he got hurt? I can't remember offhand. John said, I watched the SN Canadian broadcast of today's game. The announcer said Bratt is probably the most underrated player in the league. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of been the case for a while. But let him go under the radar. Let him go under the radar, and then he pops off this year for 100 points. He's not going to be under the radar anymore. But definitely probably one of the more underappreciated stars in the league. I definitely agree with that. Tasha said, actually, you might have been talking about the asking price for Tage. And said, all things flavored chocolate or all things with vanilla and or cinnamon. I mean, outside of, I'm going to have to pick, I would want the chocolate then. Because outside of ice cream, I don't know anything else that I even eat that's vanilla. And then if you're talking about me possibly losing chocolate, I mean, that's a myriad of things. You're talking about chocolate chip cookies. You're talking about brownies. You're talking about M&Ms. You're talking about anything that has any sort of chocolate in it. Chocolate, Snickers bars and Twix and chocolate ice cream and flying saucers that with vanilla ice cream but have the chocolate wafer. There's just chocolate is just too of a wide-reaching category to just completely wipe it out of the availability for me. Because outside of ice cream, vanilla, I don't know anything else that's vanilla, really. John said, Devils are 19 of 20 on the PK, 2 shorthanded goals, more than they have allowed. Unbelievable. Let's go Devils. That is an unbelievable stat. Through 5 games, the Devils have scored more shorthanded than they've given up shorthanded. It's a beautiful, beautiful stat. Nathan says, keep Timo on the second line and on power play 1, and he will finish with 70-plus points this year. I agree with that. I think that's a recipe for a monster year for him. Amagi said, if Tage came to New Jersey, I'd probably go into shock. That'd be a wild addition to the score. I think it's probably unrealistic. I would be thrilled with Tuck, but obviously Tage would be a next-level kind of acquisition. Like, that's one that you lose your mind for. I would go nuts if we got Tuck, too, though. Jonathan, the Ranger fan, says chocolate for sure. What are we talking about? I have to agree, as much as it pains me. There's just too many good chocolate things. James, ever have a Red Devil cocktail? I have not. 1 ounce of Southern Comfort, 1 ounce of Amaretto, 1 ounce of slow gin, filled with cranberry juice and a splash of orange juice. It's delicious. I'll have to try that maybe. Cody said, I have a feeling we can get past the second round because our bottom 6 is pretty good. I agree. Depth scoring was a black hole last year. It's not this year. With all the other things in place, I'd like this team to make it to the Eastern Conference Final. I really do. Tasha said Thompson, Bratt, Hughes line would be tears to the eyes, best line in the league. I think it would be. Ben Jam said, I'd never eaten at a Devil game, Meadowlands, or Newark. I have, however, drank enough beer to float an aircraft carrier. Eric, that's a nice jacket. Thank you. Thank you. Faces, are we talking about ice cream? I don't know. Anson asked about vanilla and cinnamon versus chocolate. Tap says, Allen's been playing great. Who do you play in a do-or-die game, Allen or healthy Markstrom? Oof. I mean, yeah, if you were asking that question as of today, I would have to go with Allen. If you asked me it before Markey got hurt, I would have said Markey. But I'm very, for goalies, live in the moment and ride the hot hand, and Allen looks like a brick wall right now. Tosh said, when Ace, someone mentioned Rooney getting hurt in the live, and Ace said karma and started clapping, just lives rent-free in my mind. That guy's victimized us too many times. Cody Skills, what could a trade for Tuck look like? I mean, I guess it depends what other teams are involved, but I imagine it'd be a bidding war for Tuck. The problem with him is he's going to want monster money after this year, and so I don't like trading for pure rentals. I mean, this would be a year where if the team continues to look good, I would be okay with it. Going for a potential pure rental to push us over the hump, but the price tag for him would probably be pretty high at the deadline. I don't know. A first is, without saying, a first plus something else for sure, I'd imagine. But he's going to want, I think I just saw a rumor before that he might want like $11 million. I mean, that's going to be hard to do. And so while I would love to add him, I don't know that I would want to pay the price that they're going to be looking for if it's a pure rental, because then I feel like you could find either other pure rentals that'll be a little bit cheaper in terms of assets, or guys with some term left on their contract where it's not just going to be like a potential playoff and see you later rental. Jersey Root says Tage and Tuck would be a fortune, not doable. Oh, the two of them is completely out of the question. Do you really think this team is legit? I'd argue they're not real until they slay the dragon that is the Canes. Whenever they play them, it's boys versus men, close game or not. No, I think they're legit for sure. I mean, if they have the season that it looks like they could have, the thing about the Canes doesn't matter until we play them. That's the reality. We play them again in January, and hopefully there's a better result. But in the end, it's going to come down to what happens when we play them in the playoffs. That's a future problem, though. Ryder says, and Dodonov and Nason ain't playing with LeChance and Haminaho in the weeds. We may have the depth for a legit push. I think so. I certainly think so. Nathan said Connor Brown is a dog. Remember when we had Halla and Lazar last year? Yeah. Completely upgraded, revamped bottom six. And that's what Dodonov. I mean, are they going to put him back in? I don't know when he comes back. Some people were speculating like, oh, he might not be put back in the lineup right away. I don't know that that's the case. I think they will put him back in. But the depth is beautiful. The competition is real. And these are great problems to have. Like, what is your lineup going to be when everyone's healthy? I certainly don't know. It's going to be a lot of things to analyze for the coaching staff. That is for sure. What's going on, Kobe? Tage is locked at like $7 million until 20. I was talking about Tuck. Tuck is going to be due a massive payday. Yeah, for Tage being on such a team-friendly deal, that only makes his value even more. So the asking price for Tage would be insane. Like, you basically have to rebuild their entire team for that to happen, I think, for them to even consider it. And I think we do have the pieces. I'm not going to start throwing out hypotheticals here, but you really could twist their arm, I feel like, with an over-the-top offer. We do have the pieces to do it. Gabagool, happy birthday to you. Thank you, New Jersey Devils, for giving me a 4-game winning streak on my birthday. What a birthday present. The elusive 4-game winning streak that has escaped the New Jersey Devils for 33 months. 3 months shy of 3 years. Mid-January of 2023. Completely crazy. Completely crazy. Tasha says trade for Yager, anyone? NJD legend. He's current. I think he's, what is he, 50? Is he 53 or 58? 53. Yeah, he's 53, playing in the Czech. What a crazy guy. They don't make him like Yager anymore. Complete legend. Complete legend, Jaromir Yager, the ageless. It was so fun to see him play for the Devils for even that brief time we had him. To see a legend like Yager wearing a Devils jersey was just all-time stuff. All-time stuff. He did just start another season. 33 months, let that sink in. Now all of a sudden things are fine. I'd love to be living in a fantasy land like people in the chat. But those are from last year's team and the season before. Like, that has no bearing on this team. Last year's team is not this year's team. The 25-26 New Jersey Devils are a different group, and they are going to make a push. Oh, they are going to make a push, my friends, because bottom six scoring is here. Our top six is another year aged and looking a little bit better, perhaps, with great defense, great goaltending. The streak of the 4-game win streak not happening is yesterday's news. That is not today's team. Today's team is an improved team. Anson says, what hypothetical deal would get Tage? Oh, my God. I got to think about it. For Tage, wait, let me just check his contract. Is it exactly 7? I think it's a little more than 7 million. Oh yeah, it's just a hair over. 7.14, and it goes through. So this is the 25. So you got this season is 1, 26, 27 is 2, 27, 28 is 3, 28, 29 is 4, and 29, 30. So you're talking about this year and 4 more at 7.14 million. My God. What would it take to get Tage? I mean, I'm just thinking here for the Devils, for the Devils to get Tage, that you don't really see guys that are Tage Thompson's age with that contract. And now that the cap went, I mean, his value would have been insane before the cap announcement came up. Now that the cap is going up, the 7.14 is even more of a team-friendly deal. And so just spitballing here, a hypothetical for the Devils to land him, I believe it would have to be something probably along the lines of, again, this is just kind of a loose parameter, but I'd imagine it could be something like, wow, I mean, if you're talking about not trading any roster pieces, which I would be preferred, I think I'll tell you what I think Buffalo would ask for. I can tell you that if the Devils basically said, like, our core is out of the question, don't even try it, I then think Buffalo would come back with something along the lines of Dawson Mercer, Shimo Nemitz, Seamus Casey, and 2 first-round picks. And I don't even know if they would do that, but I think it'd be something like that. 2 first-rounders with Mercer, Casey, Nemitz, something in that world, I think would be what it would take. And even that might not be enough. Yeah, 5 more years at 7.14. I mean, yeah, the bidding war would be insane, but I think something like that would put the Devils in the realm of value they'd be looking for. 2 first-rounders and basically 3 roster players. I think that would probably be something along what they'd be looking for. Selectable Yager is immortal. He certainly is. What a legend. One of the all-time greats. I want him to retire, stop playing soon so that they could have his Hall of Fame induction. There's a few years you got to wait before you're eligible. Ryder, I'm out. Be good, ladies. Let's go, Devils. Hit the like on your way out. Thanks, Ryder. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. Forrest, holy crap, this post-game started late. You're on a marathon tonight, 4 in a row. Woo! The post-game started a little late, and it's a little bit of a, well, I guess by this channel's marathon standards, this is not really a marathon yet, but it is a longer one, I guess, but it did start late. Running, if I'm wrong and this team goes far, I'll take back everything I said. I've yet to be proven wrong over the years, and I see no signs to stray from that. Oh, boy. I mean, you literally couldn't make it any more obvious that you're SST. James, call me crazy. I would not want to trade for anyone if we are hot. If we are hot, that means we have good chemistry. A trade could screw up that chemistry. I agree if you're talking roster players or potentially expendable pieces. Now, I would not want to trade a key piece really in any deal unless I was forced. I always say I think everyone is available for trade if the return makes sense for the team and makes the team better. I'm not against trading anyone. With that being said, I do agree that if a team is performing at a high level, I wouldn't want to tinker with it too much. But obviously first-round picks have no impact on your current roster. And then if you're talking about prospects or guys that are somewhat easily replaced, like Casey's not in the lineup right now. It's just hypothetically, and I love Seamus Casey. I hope he stays here. But if he has to go in a trade, I could see that being a piece going to another team. But trading him technically doesn't affect the team as it stands today because he's not on the team. And so there's just a lot of different variables where I think there could be a sensible trade on the table for a player. I'm not saying specifically this player, but Snow Devil said Vegas got Mitch and Carolina got Ehlers. You play well and free agents want to come over. Yeah, winning solves all. Winning makes people want to come. John Wooden says Tage would cost 2 first-rounders, Nemitz and Mercer minimum. Yeah, that's kind of what I just said. I think I threw one else. And I could see Casey as well. Tab says Nemitz plus Mercer in a first. Tasha, Tage is an extra mil above Palat, who would have made that switch. People throwing Mercer into these hypothetical trades like NHL teams actually value him like these people do. They don't. You're out of your mind. You're completely out of your mind. At $4 million, there'd be a line around the block of NHL GMs trying to add Dawson Mercer to the lineup. You're completely insane. Yeah, exactly, Snow. You're so wrong. It's SST with a burner name, and he's pretending it's not, but it is. Jonathan says, guys, stop trying to milk Buffalo if they're only good players. I think the whole league is going to be trying to do that. Selected Boy said it's not going to happen since Yager's entire mentality is hockey and hockey alone. Yeah. Complete animal. And some of the stories about his training regimen is just completely insane. Like him getting the keys to practice rinks and, the training rooms and stuff. And he'd go work out by himself with like a weight vest. I mean, the guy's just from another planet. I've always said that I would love for the Devils to reach out to him and try to bring him in as like a strength and conditioning, like special skills coach. A guy like that would be so valuable to have around the team. Like have him on the ice a couple days working with some of these kids in the corners, like using body positioning and being hard to knock off the puck. I mean, Yager was a big dude, freak of nature, physically, and obviously very strong as well, and a very good player. He was nearly impossible to knock off the puck. And if you saw him along the wall, you just couldn't get the puck from him. And that's why for some of the time he was here, him, Zubers, and Zajac were an exciting line to watch because once they got a nice cycle going. Zubers was very heavy as well. Teams could not get the puck back. That was such a dominant line for stretches of games. Yager, Zubers, and Zajac. What a time to be alive. Tasha said, Marathon would be the 10-hour free agency live. Never have there been better jokes than a live and more beef jokes. That was a rough one. That was a rough day. I look forward to the day that we have a marathon deadline day, and it is victorious, where we get a big push. No, Mehoff is an SST clone account, not Woodson. Woodson's not have a brain cellar too. Sorry, SST. Brian says 4 wins in a row. Yeah. It finally happened. Woodson says, I have to admit, we look better than expected. SST would never say that. That is also correct. That's why I also, to the people in the chat that group SST and Woodson, I always said I don't group them because while Woodson is negative a lot, I also agree with him a lot. And he does have moments of clarity where he says things that make sense. That like never happens with SST. And so that's why I've always said, Woodson and SST are not the same. While they do share some negative traits, Woodson often says things that make sense. That just does not happen with SST for the most part, or at least it hasn't been in a while. Anson says, if you could put Tage in Palat spot, damn, it could happen if we give Adams the juice, especially if Buffalo is losing and players want out. It's all possible, but the poor fans in Buffalo, man, they're going to burn that city to the ground one day. John Fay says, I was going to say Woodson has brain cells, unlike SST, and Woodson speaks his truth, but the actual truth on some occasions, unlike SST. Yeah, it's what I just said, basically exactly, Fay. That's kind of my feeling on it. Selected Boy, it's crazy work ethic at 50-plus years, good God. Yeah. Yager was born to play hockey, apparently till he's 53 or older. Woodson said, I'm in PA, thank God, not New Jersey. Tasha said, I'm like pretty... Woodson isn't an SST burner, but SST said he was, and I don't know what to believe anymore. No, Tasha. The Mehoff is the SST burner. Cody Skills, I think this is the year we could take Carolina if we get some chemistry. I agree. I think if we play them in the playoffs, we do have a chance of beating them, but it's going to take some tweaks and some kind of hardcore planning to do it because they're a very good team and they have our number. They know how to play. Like, they're a very good team normally, and I feel like they become an enhanced version of that team against the Devils because of their familiarity with the Devils and their, dominance over us. Woodson said, but this team's softness does get the better of me from time to time. Doug, I get so much joy in the Devils win, and seeing these last 2 games in person has been amazing this season. Has potential to be special. Completely agree with you, Doug. I was expecting a big year, coming into the season with high hopes and expectations. And so far, I mean, 4-1 through 5 games against 5 very good teams is very encouraging. I am fired up for the rest of the season and what this team could do. And like I said earlier in the stream, I haven't been this excited for October games like ever. I mean, it's something truly special. It really is. Of course, Ace, what do you think about what do you think some issues from last season that are still hanging around? What issues do you mean? Like giving up a goal shortly after we score one? What issues are you talking about specifically? That seems like one that's kind of still around. Tasha said, it is only me, Hoff. Feels like an attack of the clones. Not sure what to believe anymore. Anyone here can be an SST clone. Heck, even Ace. Tasha, what are you talking about? How am I going to be an SST clone? Wooden said, SST just doesn't like Homer fans getting excited over a win here and there. I mean, we're 4-1. Obviously early on in the season, but this team looks like a damn good team, Woodson. Just stop. Can you at least admit that, Woodson? That this team looks like they could be deadly. Cody Skill said, can we go on a run, Ace? Cody, I'm saying yes, my man. I am saying yes. It starts from the net out, like Uncle Lou always used to preach. The goaltending is good. It was good last year. The defense is good. It was good last year. Both have the potential to be better this year than they were last year. The top 6, I feel like, is always going to perform at some decent level. And the big kind of missing puzzle piece was the bottom 6 production. And it certainly seems like Connor Brown and potentially Grits could be massive contributors to making that bottom 6 produce on a regular basis. And when you combine all those elements, that is a good hockey team that is capable of going on a run. Now, I would like the Devils to get a little more comfortable and thriving in physical warfare games. You know, I do think Carolina kind of took it to us in that first game. Obviously, again, a lot goes into it. It's the first game of the year. Their building is notoriously hard. They have our number, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why I didn't get so deflated or right off the season like many people did, because I knew that was going to be a tough game. But to go to rip through 4 teams after that is truly special. And I do think this team has a run in them. I think they're capable. And especially if we got a little reinforcement or 2 at the deadline. But that Tampa game was, you know, they came out and tried to punch us in the face too, and we responded. And so I do think this team is slowly coming together to become what could be a deep playoff run type team. Doug said every player that dresses has made an impact, and the stat sheet shows. Woodson, a win over Edmonton is a legit win finally, but the Canes will still be our daddy until we beat them in the playoffs. That's fine, Woodson. We're not there yet. We'll worry about that when we match up with them in the playoffs. But for now, I'm going to enjoy what's looking like is going to be a phenomenal regular season en route to the playoffs. Faye, the only real problem when going on a run is the wall that are the Canes. Mm-hmm. Snow Devil says, SST, what country are you from? And by the way, the other day in the live chat during the game, you said you would stop dooming. He'll never stop dooming. Never. Never. Woodson, we usually beat running gun teams pretty well like the Oilers. We struggle against hardworking physical teams like the Canes, Caps, Jets. Yeah, when teams want to play pond hockey, we normally win because we're better at that. We have great personnel to play those run and gun games. I completely agree, Woodson. And then the hardworking physical teams with good forechecks definitely give us more problems. Once this team figures out how to match up well in those types of games, that's when I think they become a complete problem for the entire league. But even as it stands today, you have to like their chances on any given night against anyone, because they have the depth and they have the high-end weapons and they have good defense and goaltending. Snow Devil says, I think y'all are weak is also an SST account. It's definitely possible. Yeah, Nason's going to be a nice addition to this group for sure. Cody Skill says we can make the Stanley Cup final and SST would still doom. I actually said I believe the Devils could be skating the cup and SST would be dooming something about he didn't like the order that they passed the cup around in. Wood said Allen is giving us a chance. Allen's a beast. Beast. What's going on, yo, Holmes? All right, I think I'm done here, guys. I'm going to see if I can go get myself into some trouble tonight. You know? I'm going to go get into some trouble. Jersey Roots, I am single, sir. Single ace. Doug, 4-1, 4-game heater. Let's go on a 5-game. Let's go. Let's go. I want a 5-game heater, and then I want a 6, and so on and so forth. Wouldn't it be crazy if they could beat the 13-game heater from a few years ago? I mean, that's just so crazy. The 13-game heater was such a fun era of Devils hockey. It really was. Yo, Holmes, ace, lads played great. Let's go. Definitely a trouble-filled Saturday night. Woodson, all dressed up because this is PBA. This is press box ace. Your boy was in the press box. PBA, baby. So I'm a little dressed up and not my no, not the AHL team, bud, for the New Jersey Devils tonight. James, I did. I finished up my Surfside. I have a couple left from my summer haul. I load up in the beginning of the summer and keep them chilling all summer long. I'm running out, so I'll probably make the transition to the harder stuff soon. John Face, I remember that 13-game heater like it was yesterday. It was so much fun. So much fun. Doug said, I really think year 2 with Sheldon is a big sleeper topic. He's a great leader. I thought Keefe was a good hire. I think he's a good coach. Some people tried to, I don't know what the hell people were talking about last year, but I thought he did very good with a mediocre roster for the most part. He could only play the guys he had. And if you look at our lineup, specifically the bottom 6 on many nights, including the playoffs, there's guys that would be in the NHL, in the AHL rather, on every other team. They wouldn't have been in the bottom 6. And then I actually, I forget how I came across it. It was in reference to something else. I can't remember. I think it was the last time someone in the bottom 6 had a 2-goal game was like almost a year ago or something. And when I looked at the lines from that game, listen, guys, this is how you already know that Keefe had a raw deal last year in terms of roster. I think there was at least one game, maybe multiple, where Nate Bastian was on the first line, guys. Sit here and let that sink in. Nate Bastian played on the first line for the New Jersey Devils last season for at least a game, and it may have been multiple. That's how desperate things got for Sheldon Keefe. He could only, you could only cook with the ingredients you're given. And last year, unfortunately, with all the injuries and stuff, he had subpar ingredients for a lot of it and still managed to get the Devils into the playoffs. I mean, credit to him. I like Keefe. I know some people don't. I like Keefe. I have no complaints about him whatsoever. Amagi said, I brought up first-line Bastian at the game. It was just one game, but still, yeah. He played at least for the Bruins game. I believe it was January 22nd of last year. It was the Bruins game that Markey actually got hurt in, and that was the Jacques Lemaire Ring of Honor night, all on the same night. Jacques Lemaire goes in the Ring of Honor. Markey gets hurt and loses a bunch of time. Nate Bastian plays first-line minutes. Dawson Mercer has 2 goals. A lot of things happened that night. Amagi said, keep wanting to reward him, Tasha, as we put him there for one game. I mean, come on over. Cotter. Ted, I love Don LaGreca's enthusiasm. Love Don. Don's the man. Ted says, Devils are so back. We are so back. Cody says, I was there that night. I was there as well. What a great night at the Rock. And I'm looking forward to Ring of Honor night this season as well. I'm curious when they're going to make that announcement, but that Ring of Honor for the old timers, there's nothing better than seeing all the old legends back in the building and one of them getting put in the Ring of Honor. Amagi said, Markey having that whole ceremony for his 500th game, then getting immediately scored on was so awkward. Tasha said, I mean, at least the Markey injury game we won and snapped a losing streak. I love Devils hockey, says Doug. Ted says Jack Hughes does Jack Hughes things. Yeah. Jack's finally, I think, going to start exploding soon. Wait. What a game for 86, though, huh? Jack is back. Now we get to see how this team handles a back-to-back. Yeah, we'll see it. And it's not even a home back-to-back. It's a road game in Toronto, short flight back, playing the Wild the next night. Taj said, Ring of Honor looks so cool. I'm definitely going to have to go to this one this year. Who do we think it's going to be? I think it's going to be Lou. I'd be kind of stunned if it's not Lou. Ryan respects that if they beat the Leafs, I'll run around my block naked. Tasha, we lost like 1-6 to the Sharks last year. Yeah, we struggled with them for the past couple years, I feel like. Some of those bottom feeder teams. John Fay, can we finally win it back-to-back and break that curse as well? We must wait to see it. Dave8582 says, let's go Devils, smash the like. Yeah, hit the like for your boy. All right, guys, I got to go. I got to go figure out what I'm doing in my life. But our beloved New Jersey Devils are on a 4-game winning streak for the first time since January 14th, 2023. 33 long months we waited for a 4-game winning streak. It is finally here. Jack is getting a little heated up at home. And it's hard not to be excited about this team, guys. The sky is the limit. Oh, the sky is the limit. I am super fired up for this team this season. I cannot wait for Tuesday in Toronto. Hopefully the boys get it done for Coach. And wow, just what a time. What an absolute time. Fired up. Lots of stuff in the works. Probably the vlog will come out at some point tomorrow. I got a bunch of other things in the works, and it's going to be a fun season, kids. Buckle up. And like I said, last warning, not too many more warnings are coming. If you talk smack on Timo Meier, if you talk smack on Dawson Mercer, and you talk smack on this New Jersey Devils club after one game, the first game of the regular season, if you talk smack about any three of those things to an excessive and obnoxious level, and you know if it was excessive or obnoxious, you know exactly what you were doing. Deposit your apologies in the comments. I'm not going to say it again, guys. I'm not going to be nice about this. Deposit those apologies in the comments, because if not, I'm coming out soon. The vault has the screenshots. It has the receipts. And you will be embarrassed for committing treason against our beloved New Jersey Devils. And that's it, guys. And that's it. I'm running on fumes. Not a lot of sleep. Lots of things going on today, but the Devils did it. Finally getting the monkey off our backs, 4 in a row. You love to see it. Looking to make it 5 in Toronto Tuesday night. Win one for Coach. Let's get it. Let's get it. This team, oh, man, I'm pumped. All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.